Welcome, everybody. It is week who the fuck knows in quarantine, and I guess this week is a very dear friend of mine. We have formed a band, but only when we're drunk we have shows or agree that we are a band. He is the manager of the Swag Squad. He is on contender for manager of the year for the Schmoedown. Guys, everybody give a warm welcome to Winston Marshall.
What up? Hi, everybody. How you doing? Oh, God. I'm so sorry.
Guys, so Winston just hopped on the stream, and we both were like, we're tired. We need a nap. I don't know what it is, but this entire week has just been like way low energy. I'm like trying to see if like Mercury's in retrograde because that bitch always fucks everything up.
I think it's for me. I think it's a grip of like a couple things at the same time. I missed my workout yesterday, and honestly, I'm gonna have to do a late night one today just because I've been so crazy. But it's partially if I'm not hitting my workouts on the regular, I feel my energy go down. I started Whole30 today, so I know you said that this is a drinking show. Or not today. I started on Monday. I know you said this is a drinking show, but I can't have any alcohol, so I have my water. I'm pulling my ace here.
Hey, there's no judgments here. If you want to drink, you can.
I would love to. You don't understand how badly I would love to, but
like I legit was like, come join us for Vanilla Crown and have some fun. And
I'm like,
I know, and I would have been like,
water.
grab your green. I know that would have been like, grab the water, grab a green juice. But I will be drinking.
No. I need people to drink for me. I want everybody else. Like I haven't volunteered to DD anything since like the first year out of college. Like, it's not to say that I wouldn't do it, but odds are I will not volunteer. It's because someone's like, bro, you haven't DD'd in however long. And I'm like, man, fuck y'all.
Fine, I'll pay for the Uber.
Right. So I'm down to do it for the next, I guess this is week 1 of 4. So I'm down to do it for the next 3.5 weeks. So if I got to be the responsible adult tonight, I'm more than happy to do so. That is totally fine.
Great. So I'll just give you all the controls and I'll just get drunk. Fine. I mean, yeah, this is like the perfect time to tell all of your parents that like, or to tell all of your friends that like, you just want to be the DD because we can't go out. There's no bars open. You're like, oh yeah, I totally have September. I'll totally be DD for all September. Oh, guys, just so everybody knows, Mama Silvestrini is in the chat again. She is cheersing. She has this. My mom listens and watches all of my shows. It is hilarious. My mom and I have like no secrets because I've lived a crazy life.
I almost shouldn't have known that because now I feel like I instinctively hear the word mama, my brain just ratchets down a couple notches just because like you don't understand. We were like for Swag Back Thursdays, I play a retro game. And then I was making the playlist, but my mod Neil Carter, he's actually been handling them. He surprised me and put an all crunk fucking mix on. So I'm out here as Spider-Man talking about what they gonna do shit, what they gonna do shit. Just fucking wilding for no reason. Oh my God. Oh,
no, it's never no reason. Whenever you do that, I feel like there's something inside you that just needs to get out and you just need to express that. See, my mom is the best. My mom came to Warped Tour. She has literally partied with rock stars with me. She gave Lemmy a carrot cake recipe.
Wow.
First year when I first moved down to LA, when I was like 20, 21, my mom came down to visit and I took her to the Bow because I'd been talking about it. And my mom is so sweet. And she goes, I just want to go to that place, the ribbon. And I'm like, the Bow? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus. I'm like, all right.
That's the same thing.
I'm like, all right, we'll go, but we'll go on like a Wednesday night when it's like nice and like decently calm. So we roll up and sitting on the patio and mom gets a table and I go to my bartender at the bar to get my drinks. And I come back and Lemmy's sitting in my seat, like Lemmy, like rock god, ace of spades, Lemmy. And then they're having like the sweetest chat and she's like writing down a carrot cake, her famous carrot cake recipe. And I ran into him like 3 months later and he goes, your mom's carrot cake recipe was the best thing I've ever made. I was like, that's the cutest thing. My mom had like this little mini like friendship with Lemmy. It was the most adorable thing.
I was about to say, mom out here giving away family recipes, but I mean, I guess if it's Lemmy, you can make an exception.
Yeah.
I get that. But see, my mama would be like, you can come over to my house. I'll make it for you. But mama ain't giving away no secrets.
Well, she does live in Northern California, so it's not. And I was not about to invite him to my shitty apartment in the valley at the time because the place was a trash heap. Oh my God! You ever look back at like your 20s and you're like, what was I doing?
I mean, all the time. I mean, shit. If I think about it, like the first place we lived in was actually this like older duplex with this older Korean gentleman named Chang. And it was just very funny. However he would say our names, he would yell everybody. I've gone by Alex or Amar like my whole life. I only started going by Winston, both because the industry, there's already an Alex Marshall in SAG, so it just made it easier not to do that. And then the other reason was I remember it was probably senior year of college. I was talking to some girls, and somebody got a hold of my wallet and was looking at my ID, and they go, "Oh, your name is Winston? That's really sexy." I was like, "Yeah, my name Winston. What up?" Yeah, like all that being said, I went by Amar to him, so he'd be like naming everybody, like Jeffrey, Diego, Brandon, but then he'd be like Emma, and I'm like, yo, why I got the drop inflection? Or you don't like me or some shit? Like,
you're like getting ready to scold you. Dan, no, my mother does not outdrink me. However, she has become more adventurous in what she drinks because of me. Because when I would come home from tours, or I lived in Nashville for a while, I would come home and like show her new drinks. Like when I came back from Nashville, one time she came home from work, I was already in the backyard with like, you know, those kiddie pools that were plastic that would break if you like accidentally leaned too hard into them.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
So we had one of those in the backyard, and I had like filled it with water, and I had like an ice pack next to me, or an ice chest next to me with ice and like Firefly vodka and lemonade, and I was just making hard Arnold Palmer's. I can never say that correctly. And my mom comes out and she's like, "What are you drinking?" And I'm like, "Sit down, enjoy, relax."
I was gonna say, I'm realizing that this is an adult story because you mentioned a kiddie pool, and most of the people using kiddie pools aren't really kids; it's adults. But for some reason, I'm imagining you as a child at your mom's place in a kiddie pool, and then like I have an ice chest. I was like, "For your Capri Sun," and then you're like, and then I had Firefly vodka. I was like, "Why do you have vodka at 8? What the fuck is happening?" And then I was making adult Arnold Palmer's for my mama. I was like, "What is your family?"
Don't judge my mom's child rearing tactics. I turned out fine, I think. I pay my bills. I pay my taxes. It's all good.
That's all that matters. At this point, do we have to pay taxes? Because
no. I'm not paying taxes this year. Fuck them.
Oh, fuck. That reminds me. The IRS did send me a notice because they said they need another document from me. They did this another year because of Medi-Cal, or not Medi-Cal, the Obamacare. Whatever like support they need, like a document of mine. I completely forgot I got that like 2 weeks ago. I guess I should send it. But I'm annoyed. I fucking was one of the few people that did my taxes before April 15th and heard nothing from them until 2 weeks ago. I didn't get a stimulus check until like 3.5 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of like, man, fuck the IRS right now.
Yeah, like, I finally got my stimulus check because I've been battling with unemployment because my last jobs that I've worked, the last job that I worked was my tour with John Leguizamo. And so I live in California. The company address is in New York and the payroll is out of New Jersey. So I have spent the last like 9 months bouncing back and forth between all 3 states, unemployment, being told that I don't need, like that I'm not supposed to apply through them. And I have talked to thousands of people. At this point, I literally kept getting this one girl in New Jersey, and like I just check on her every few weeks now. I'm like, "So Sandy, how's everything going? How's your dog? How's your mom? Like, can you help me out?"
I gotta try again because I was stuck in that weird void where obviously all of this Schmoedown stuff and random things have been all 1099s. Yeah. But then like anytime I book something, those end up being W-2s, even if you're only on for an episode or some shit, like it's a W-2. So when I went to file, they were like, oh, you get 0. And I was like, what the fuck? Because they were like, oh, it's not for 1099 folks. So then they did the PUA thing, and I signed up for that, but they're like, no, you have W-2s. This is not for you. And then they shunned me away. So I did this back and forth trying to get someone on the phone to like help me out. Spent hours. Got nothing, and I eventually just kind of gave up. But someone told me that there's something that I can call now that they will give me back pay for it if I can get through, which would be great. So yeah, if I can, well, are you? But that was the whole thing. It's specifically for. They were like, if you try and call through this department, because it's part of the problem was I would be calling over and over again, and it would automatically play a message and then shut down or whatever. Yeah. They're saying if I hit them up and I explain what's going on, they'll refile it as 1099 stuff, and I should still get everything that was supposed to happen from March up until when it ended at the end of July, which would be helpful. That'd be super fucking helpful, but we'll see. I'm just very tired. This whole I would say this entire quarantine, the biggest thing that I've taken out of it or pandemic, I guess, has been just exhaustion. I feel like I'm working almost more because of this, because I have to balance between all the different streams and prepping Schmoedown matches and Instacarting. And now that the industry's back, I'm very happy that I booked something, but I like that's its own level of like, okay, cool. Do this like safety COVID meeting. Now come to the next day, come to a fitting, then the next day do whatever, which is all, again, not complaining. Very happy I got the job. I just balancing that now with everything else I was already doing. I'm just like, whoo. So
yeah, it's exhausting. And guys, there was an event for live events, because like I worked concert tours and Broadway shows and stuff like that. So like a lot of those employees have not been taken care of, and like they've literally had to battle tooth and nail to like get any sort of recognition from even their state representatives for unemployment, because it's a gig by gig job, and you can't, there's no way to prove like my gig, like my tour ended mid-October or mid-December, and then I was actively applying for gigs because nothing goes out over Christmas. I started actively applying for tours and stuff like right the first week of January, and nothing was picking up, and then March everything shut down, and it was one of those things. It's like, unless you had a gig lined up, can you get any sort of care taken care of you? But this is a real sad, and we can talk about this for fucking hours.
No, I know. Well, the last thing I want to ask then about it, because we should probably move away from this depressing ass conversation, is what are you doing to survive right now? If touring was your main source of income, how are you holding up?
I've got savings, and all of this stuff really helps, like all the Streamlabs and oh sorry, I just realized I forgot to throw on this. There we go. All the Streamlabs and the Patreon, like it really helps. And then I've got a few friends who are like decently well off that have been helping me out. Also, Alex and Brandon have been incredibly supportive and like understanding. Like, nice. You do what you can, but it's like trying to run through quicksand.
No, hey. Shit. But I wanted to ask you, what's like, how was that Kevin Smith match for you? I'm sure that was.
I was just like curled up in the corner of my couch, just like trying to contain myself from not like running all over the place. It was so good. I was so happy. I was like, this is some weird, like some weird stuff has happened in my life to where I just kind of like pause and I'm like, my life is weird and extraordinary, and I'm so thankful. But it's like I have so many stories to tell that like people are like, that's bullshit. Like there's no way that's true, and I'm like, no, that's 100% true. So it's just things like that. I mean, I'm so excited that both Kevin and Chris are involved in the Schmoedown.
That was a hell of a match,
dude. It was so good, and yes, I will love to play Kevin Smith.
Oh yeah.
Gonna tell the stories. Oh, eventually. We're slowly getting to them. Like we're slowly telling them throughout the throughout this podcast. I don't even know what this is. What it's show, hangout, virtual drink.
I mean, all of the above, and If you don't, you should totally put it in podcast form too, so people can listen after the fact. You know, there are a lot of audio sponsorships that happen too. So, you know, get that money, girl.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, welcome to Sadness, Taxes, and Life podcast with Rachel and Winston.
Jesus.
For something a little more lighthearted. So I mentioned that we had a band.
Never remember the name though. That's the only problem. I always remember we have a band. I always forget the name.
We are Whisky Stairwell.
That is right. I remember exactly why too. Yeah.
Because we were just pounding my Jameson a free for all, sitting on an emergency stairwell that literally led to nowhere.
Yep. Well, I would hope somewhere was an emergency stairwell. I hope it leads to the outside in case a fire broken out.
I just remember looking up and being like, we can sit here, right? And someone was like, yeah, the door is chained. And I was like, I just looked up and it had this big exit sign and like chains wrapped around the handle, like to this, like the hand.
I don't remember that. That no one considered that a fucking fire hazard or some shit. Like, damn.
I mean, to be fair, we all got out alive. It's fine.
I mean, that's fair. We did make it out in one piece, man. But that event was a lot of fun. Because if I remember
those days when we could gather together.
If I remember, you went on before me, right? You were.
Oh, I was number 2.
That's right. And I was like, I want to say like 9, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember because I took out your then partner at the time, Devon.
Yeah, you shanked him hard because you didn't have to. You didn't have to answer that question correctly, and if you hadn't, Devon would have stayed.
Yeah, but why? but black on black violence, exactly like I said in the thing. It's not a thing, but I made it a thing just for that.
And you had such a great entrance. Like, I went back and rewatched the free-for-all. It's something I'll just, like, throw on in the back every now and then if, like, I'm cleaning or something. And, like, I just remember you, like, hearing the music as you came out, and I'm like, oh, shit. He did it.
I remember, too, because that was before when they were still allowing, last season, when they were still allowing, like, copyrighted music. And I even remember them saying that, like, for a minute they did get pulled off of YouTube, the part of the free for all, because of everybody's entrance music and whatnot. And I do miss being able to play, like, what I had the Justice League theme. I had a bunch of different random themes over the course of my time as a player, but I gotta give so much credit to Matthew Reed, man, who did the swag theme.
Dude, that song, I'm so angry every time it comes on because it's just one of those, like, fuck, it's so good. I want to hate these guys, but it's so good.
It's so good. It's part of the reason why Christian made a theme for Chandru and didn't tell me. He thought he had texted me, but he didn't. And so he's like, all right, we're going to play this for Chandru's match for the title match. I was like, no, we're not. And he was like, what? And I was like, you need to, like, run things by me, man. Like, I get this is your league, but, like, he's like, I sent it to you. And I was like, I have nothing from you. And he goes, then who did I send it to? I know I sent it to someone. I was like, I don't know, but you're not just springing around. Like, I was like, look, it's a superstition thing. So, like, nah. And so then I was like, we can ask Chandru. How about that? It's his match. We will ask Chandru. Chandru comes up. He's like, hey, man, I got this theme for you. Chandru goes, nope, I want the swag theme. Like, didn't even finish the sentence. And he was like, okay, all right. He's like, if you want to give it to me later, that's fine, but I don't, not now. I was ready to come out to this, like, nah. And I guess it's technically been revealed now because that whole dance that Chandru did with the belt like a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago.
I don't watch him dance. It makes me angry.
Why? Let the man live his life.
I'm fine with it. That's why I don't watch it anymore. Because when I watch it, I feel like I need to comment on it and be like an angry auntie. But, like, I can't.
That's the best part. That's the best, because, like, we've talked about this before, that, like, there are people that don't necessarily know how to, like, talk shit or play the dozens, which is like a big part of the league, and you can kind of see it. And there's two things that kind of go into it being bad. The first is when you see rookies coming in, they haven't spoken to anybody. but they got invited to the league and they're ready to come play this character. And then they come in and start talking shit and they're like, motherfucker, I don't know you. So you instantly go, man, fuck that guy. Fuck him. Like, I felt that way about a number of people. Like Robert Parker, I've actually met before. I did his show. And I had talked to him, and then I was like, no, this sweet kid, all that. But the problem is all that hype got built up, and he took on this cocky-ass persona of like, yeah, you know, and that fucking suit with the pocket watch and the vest. I was like, this little motherfucker, I swear to God, someone needs to knock this motherfucker off a peg or two. And so then, like, when he lost to Jay, especially after he whooped up on Ace, you know, I'm protected Mama Bear. I was like, this motherfucker. So like when he lost, I was like so happy, but I also felt bad because like he's actually a good dude, and like he likes PvPN, and the whole time the Black Lives Matter movement like got its second like wave push this summer, he was like at the forefront of like pushing us. So like I felt bad, but like at the time I was like, bitch, if you don't come over here and fucking show some goddamn respect, so like I it's the same thing with Chanju where it was frustrating at first because that match against Hannah, which was in studio, we were trying to play him as a face. And it's not to say that he can't be, it's just that, like I said, there's some people that don't play the dozens on the regular. So there's this little thing of him where he would like say shit at the wrong time where I was like, this can play out in one.
My mom loves you. My mom is just adopting everybody. It's just what happens. Yes, Jill, Robert Parker is a treasure, but also we knew Robert Parker before he like joined the league, so he was just like,
and that's it.
He's just this sweet little tiny man that I'm an Amazon, so like everybody is tiny next to me. Like,
I mean, look, I'm just saying it would be. I'm so curious if the two of y'all had kids, if they would just be regular size children. Like instead of being tiny or an Amazon, they're just like, "Hi, I'm Bob. I'm 5'8". Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like a regular ass.
I actually talked to Robert after the draft and everything, and I was like, I'm really sad that I didn't get put on the dungeon just because I wanted to do an entrance with him where he was Yoda and I was Luke, and we just came in and he was just like on my back, just like latched on.
That would have been fucking hilarious. The only other thing that would have made me laugh harder maybe is do like a Mad Max Borderland type thing where like you're the bigger like thug and he's the little one that's like that would have been pretty funny.
You're an asshole.
It would have been great.
That's all right. That's how everybody sees me with Ben right now anyways. Oof.
Is with what? It was with what?
With Ben where I'm the muscle and he's the brain. It's all the fun. But whatever. Next season.
No, I mean next season is next season indeed. It's so interesting because like I realized after because I shot the promo way before we did anything, before we filmed the match, before we filmed the Final Exam Pride live event. Because as a matter of fact, it reminds me that's what I got to do tonight. Shit, they're gonna kill me. I have like 5 promos to fucking turn in. So I did them all at once.
I have people in the tournaments.
No. I'm backlogged. That's the problem is that some of these matches that are happening like on Monday, they're like, bitch, where the fuck are your promos? And I'm like,
don't piss off Courtney. She'll come after you. I'm terrified.
Cool. It's the Courtney's cool. It's the other. She's not actually mad. She's actually doing that like kind like white lady thing where she's like, hey, so are you almost done? Are you almost done with your promos? Like we need those promos. And I'm like,
are you having any trouble with uploading them?
I feel bad because like I know I need to do them, but I get so so this is the real thing. You see what Cheryl said, Ambling Soul? Like she's one of my mods, and she's probably one of the few people that's keeping my life together. Like, to be honest, she even said to me in one of our meetings, she was like, I'm just one of those people that likes organization, and I don't really want to organize my shit right now. So when you tell me that, when you mention something in the stream, I'm like, well, write it down. She has come up with like 3 different game plans for a bunch of different shit. I had told everybody I need to grow my social media number. She's like, cool, I have a game plan for this. I was like, oh, PvPN, we're pushing that. She's like, cool, I have a game plan for this, and this. And so now it's on the list.
Good
bro, she's an angel. I don't know what I did to deserve her, but she is a goddamn angel.
I need one of those. That sounds amazing. I do of this shit all by myself. I'm like constantly calling people. I'm like, so we're still on for next week, right? Like,
Well, and that's the whole thing. It's a mix of me doing certain things by myself, which that's not a knock on any of them. It's more from the standpoint that they have their lives, they're doing whatever. But there are certain things they can't even do. So, like for example, I have to film PBPN. I have to edit PBPN. Don't get me in more
fucking
trouble.
Dan and I love you.
Don't get me in more trouble. There's just certain things that I have to take care of personally, that I can't lean on them for. But it also then makes things super like stressful because it's like I'm not the best editor. Like I've gotten better, but like I'm slow. So to sit down and go, I got to edit an entire episode of PBPN, I'm just like, God damn it. Like, and that's why I've taken a little bit of a hiatus. I have been stockpiling episodes. So then that way it'll give me some breathing room going forward. Like I made some evergreen ones that I can release so that I can take my time and not be so stressed out. So, but
yes, Sean, I know that you offered and I'm trying to take you up on it, but every time I try to like go to text you, like I know that you're working and Dan, back the fuck off. I love you, but I will cut you. Dan is moving out to LA. Did you hear about that? Dan,
no, I didn't. I don't even know if I know Dan, which makes me feel like a shitty person.
Dan's an old school fan, and Dan came out to the Chicago live events, and we got to hang out. He is a wonderful, wonderful human being, and he's engaged, and he and his fiance are moving out to LA soon, hopefully, right? Like that would be awesome.
That would be dope as shit.
Yeah, get your butt out here from Ohio.
Yeah, dude. I mean, what's in Ohio's better than Oklahoma. There's at least that.
Yeah.
I mean, if y'all don't know, anybody that watches Game Time knows I went on a massive rant about the city, about Oklahoma City. Like, I went off. It was bad because I don't know if you know Tavisca Productions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they pop in here every now and then.
He's apparently from Oklahoma City. And they were like, man, you just wait till Tavisca gets here. He gonna be like, I don't like to talk about no goddamn Oklahoma City like that. I'm like, bring the motherfucker, because Oklahoma City, the most tired-ass motherfucking city I've ever. I gotta stop. Before I go on another rant. There's
only two things that I know about Oklahoma City is that I know the theater, and the theater is beautiful and wonderful, and that there is a wonderful Airbnb for anybody who's like traveling through like on a tour, and it's like literally right around, like it's across the street from the you go out the stage door, go down to the end of the block and go around to the other side, and it's like right there, and it's gorgeous and wonderful. And I was like, I walked into the Airbnb and I was like, I could live in Oklahoma City if this was my apartment. Like,
no. And then
I walked outside and I was like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna go back to living in hotels instead.
Ain't shit like, and that's the whole thing. And I told him if I go down there, he can show me around the city, because I haven't been there since end of high school, middle of college, because that was one of there's nothing to do. There's not, and the rant was
it's improving.
It's getting better. I've heard, but the problem was they stole the Seattle Supersonics from fucking Seattle, took them down to Oklahoma City and made them the goddamn Thunder. The only thing that's there is literally that team. And like to that point, like I even joked, I was like, you want to know why Russell Westbrook won the MVP the year he averaged a triple-double of like 25 points? It's because the motherfucker had nothing to do but fucking play basketball. He was letting out his rage. That is why he was getting like 20 fucking rebounds a game, because he's like, man, fuck this shit. Like, shit here. Like,
okay. Chris, you don't think I know about The Thick? Bitch, please.
Do you know? Do you watch Game Time?
No, I watched enough of you and Roka giggling and doing this on SCN Live, and I was like, let's just be honest. I've toured with punk and metal bands for like 9 years. Like 98% of my friends are guys. I know what this, like, I get it.
What do you think this is? That's my question.
It's ass clapping, right?
Oh, yes. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, all right.
Okay.
No, I agree with you, but maybe you thought it was like, maybe it wasn't ass clapping. Maybe you thought it was like actual sex. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know. I'm just making sure.
Dude, if that's how you have sex, we need to have a talk off air.
Well, it was more, I guess that was more for like the sound. If the sound was.
I'll get Mom to call you. She'll sit you down and have like the birds and the bees talk with you. It'll be fine. She does a very gentle talk. It's very sweet.
But The long and the short of it is, I'm sure you're familiar that the Washington, the DC football team has been a very racist ass name for generations now.
Oh yeah.
And so right when they were talking about maybe they were going to change it before they pulled the trigger, we were like, you 1,000% should. And what you should name it is you should name it the Washington Thick. And we were like, there's a number of reasons. First of all, you're in DC. That's Chocolate City. Hella black people there. Second of all, most of the ladies that I know that watch football at one point or another have brought up being like, damn, you see number 32's ass? Like look at that running back. He got a nice ass. And like literally my girlfriend, her friends, even my homegirl Jasmine, who is a hardcore Packers fan, knows a lot about football. She'll be like, "Damn, I didn't know Clay Matthews had an ass like that." Like,
yeah, he does. Oh, that boy can squat. Woof.
So like to that
point, tooth on that thing.
Jesus Christ!
Shit.
So to that point, if you have the dudes that clearly have ass, and then you just go get some cheerleaders that got some ass, they could just be the Washington Thick. So
all they need to do is go to Georgetown, like plenty, like, yeah, 100%. I agree. No, I mean, I was a cheerleader in high school, and like the huge joke was like, well, we also had a terrible football team. Like a good season was 2-9. Like singing the alma. I grew up in the Silicon Valley. I grew up in San Jose, so we were very much an academic high school.
Got it.
And so, it was 67. My graduating class was 60% Asian. Let's just leave it at that. Wow. I was one of the bigger, taller people, broader. I had one of the broadest shoulders in my class. And I wrestled in junior high, and the varsity football coach was my math teacher, and he literally was asking me if it would be okay if he talked to my dad about having me play football for the team as a freshman for the varsity team, because the guys were so small and our defense line was terrible, like awful. It was a big thing.
Did you play?
No. My dad. No, I had gotten enough injuries in cheerleading, and like they had already dished out like $3,000 for like uniforms and camps and shit like that. Yeah, and by the way, like our it was very much like a Bring It On scenario where we had a shit football team, but our cheerleading squad was balled out, amazing. And like singing the alma mater after the game to them was just the most painful thing ever. Like it would just be like under the mountain. From the guys, and we're like, oh God, please don't cry until we're gone. Like we're trying to cheer you on. This is awful.
Man, you would have been like, you would have probably been killer on the line, but you would have been a dope tight. If you have hands, just make you a tight end and damn, just go full Gronk on their asses.
I played softball for 10 years, so I can catch, I can run. Well, I can't really run, but I can hit real hard. I was also like half my size back then. I was still one of like I was still one of the biggest girls in the school because I was like 5'9" and like, broad shoulders. Like,
yeah, I'm sure you don't want to go like full China, like from WWF, but like you get in the weight room or whatnot. You could have been out here catching hands, but like, sit down, little boy. Like, because I'm assuming that in Silicon Valley, most of the teams were undersized shrimps.
No, just us.
Oh,
just
really?
us. Just us. Yeah, it was real sad. We were like, if the Silicon Valley, if all the high school kids in the Silicon Valley were in a high school in the 80s, we were Long Duck Dog.
Oh wow!
Like 100%. We got our ass whooped so many times.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. But anyway,
we were my high school was 75% Jewish. So first of all, I got off every fucking holiday, and because they would just cancel because they were like, well, 3/4 of the class is gone, so just take the day off. So I felt bad because they would have to fast and like be in services all day, and I would be at home watching like fucking The Price is Right in my robe and shit. Yeah, just like, oh man, I love Passover. Fuck, dude. Like, yo, Rosh Hashanah, my shit. Like, just
L'chaim, bitches.
But at the same time, it was so interesting because then like our basketball team was like, okay, I don't think they had really won any they hadn't won any championships in a while, but we weren't bad. But like my year, all like again being a majority Jewish, like all just 3-point shooters. Just like you would literally have the one really tall white dude who doesn't shoot threes, and then everybody else is a little undersized and is shooting threes. So it was literally, we looked like the Warriors out there, but like not nearly as good. Oh man, it was pretty fucking funny.
I miss playing sports. Like the Schmoedown is the closest thing to it, but like I tell Brandon every now and then, I'm like, grab your mitt, like let's just go out. Like we have a school nearby us, like we can break onto the field, it's totally fine. Let's just go play catch for like an hour. Like I miss drills, I miss running practices. Like it's just I miss
dodgeball a shit ton, and I didn't realize how much it comes and goes in waves. Like when quarantine first started, I was okay because like I was actually burning out a little bit, and I needed to take a step back. And then after we realized this wasn't just a couple of weeks, this was going to be a little bit longer than that, I was like, oh man, if I had known that was going to be the last time I played for a while, then like I would have, really leaned into it more. And then once we really were like, yeah, the world is fucked. Like the thing is, sports like that for the everyday person, that shit ain't coming back till well into 2021. And so to like think about that really bums me out, because it was one of the few things that was keeping me active. Like I have been working out every day, but it's like just a different type of workout. Like like I will say my wallet thanks me just because like each of those leagues is like, it's not crazy expensive. It's like somewhere between 60 and 80 for like 10 weeks. You do have to pay up front, so it's not terrible. But like after every game, everybody goes to the bar and you just get drunk. So like it adds up. Like that's the whole thing, is it adds up.
It's like going to Schmoedown.
And that's the whole thing that I regret.
You're spending more at the bar than you make in your match. And that's fine.
And I regret that too. I typically would dip out because I always had stuff, whether it be dodgeball or my other friends or whatever else. I want to say I've gone to the bar maybe once or twice after a Schmoedown match, and part of that is I just wasn't super close to anybody. It was like it was obviously like me and you became friends, and I knew Eric from before. Like I brought him into the Schmoedown, but like I didn't really feel like I was connecting with a lot of people at the time. So like when they would invite me out, it would be one of two things. It would either be I genuinely already just had plans because I was cool with Kaiser.
Who isn't? Like, if you don't get along with Kaiser, it's one of those things like, if my dog doesn't like you, I can't like you. Like, if Kaiser doesn't like you, I instantly am suspect.
Yep. And that was the whole thing. And that's the one thing I regret, is that I didn't spend more out of studio time with people. It can be a little daunting at times, especially because of the way that's shot. Everybody knows everybody. You know what I'm saying? So there are the people that you talk to more on the regular. But it's one of those things where now I feel like if we all came back, I wouldn't have a problem. Oh, excuse me.
How dare you? How dare you yawn on this show? Now, did you play dodgeball with oh my god, her name just went right out of my head. It was oh my god, Jasmine McAfee.
You know Jasmine McAfee?
Yeah.
Did we talk about this already?
I think we've talked about it a few times, but we were both celebrating.
Yes, but yes, the answer is yes. That's how I met her, actually.
Oh, that's so funny, because Jasmine is somebody that I met working Warped Tour.
Right.
And so we became really close on Warped Tour, and then you stop doing Warped Tour, you go do other tours, shit happens, but it's one of those things that's like, you can always come back to the people that you toured with on Warped Tour, and it's like family. And so it was just one of those random things. Like, I think you posted like a group photo of your dodgeball team, and you tagged Jasmine, and I was like, how the fuck do you know Jasmine?
Yeah,
and then I was like, this is just LA. Like, everyone knows everyone.
Dude, the story of me and Jasmine is a very funny one, in the sense that first met her, just meeting Jasmine in general. Like, I mean, she's kind of an asshole. which is
she is. Which is why I love her.
I know. Like, as a matter of fact, let me see if I can bring the photo up. Her sorry, give me 1 second. Mark Ellis just texted me.
Everything stops for Mark because he is the purest soul in the entire world. But while you're doing that, guys, Saturday, if you don't have tickets yet, Mark Ellis is doing a live show from the Viper Room. You can buy digital tickets for his event. I think they're $12. I'll throw the link in below, or somebody can throw the link into the chat. That would be great. Apparently, I screwed up and put Mollie.
You can only sort of see it. But when I first met Jasmine, she took my phone, and that's the photo she put as that. She did that as like her contact because we were exchanging numbers or whatever, and that's the photo she fucking took. And I was like, this motherfucker. That is the perfect photo for who Jasmine is. She is stunningly beautiful and just an asshole. And she will cut a bitch if you cross her friends. Which is why we're friends. She's just the best. And so that's the funny story is that like that was first meeting. I was like, huh, she's interesting. And then I hung out with her another time and found out what a massive nerd she is. And I was like, damn, I think I have a big crush on this chick. And so like I shot my shot a couple times, and Jasmine does this thing that a lot of people will do where they'll like kind of know that someone has feelings for them and they'll kind of like let it just kind of continue to whatever. But like ultimately it didn't work the fuck out, and we just ended up being friends, which is totally fine. But it's so funny because like thinking on it now, whenever shit happens and Jasmine does something ridiculous, I'm like, I can't believe my dumbass ever thought she was great. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, now you're talking about a dear friend. Careful.
But she's one of my favorite people in the whole world. I mean, we joke. My girlfriend and I joke that I was like, oh, Jasmine, like when we have kids, long time from now, well, you're gonna be Auntie Jasmine. She's like, Cunty Jasmine. I mean, I guess we're like, no, we said Auntie, but. That's what you want to be referred to as, CJ. You are now CJ from now on. And she was like, whatever. Like, just her. Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, I think when you posted the photo, I was like, how the fuck do you know Jasmine? Jasmine like commented below. She's like, how the fuck do you know Winston? And I was like, this is everything I love.
That's actually a really good Jasmine impression, by the way.
We spent a lot of time together. We're also like basically like soul sisters. Like we're very similar. I think we're like the two girls in Karina, but like grown up.
Okay. Tell me y'all's craziest tour story.
I cannot do that.
Why not?
Because I don't remember.
I thought you were like, I can't do that from my mama. You said mama can hear anything. I don't understand.
No, mom has heard so much, and it's one of those like to the point where I'm like, Mom, I'm really sorry you have to hear all this shit about your daughter, but you choose to listen, so it's fine. I've also told her a lot, like you know those times when you like the shit that you did as a teenager, and then like you grow into an adult, and then you like have those like open conversations with your parents, and you're like, hey, remember that time I snuck out and you couldn't find me for like 7 hours? Yeah, I was here. What? Like, maybe. You don't have to do that to your parents.
I mean,
I did a lot of shit. I was still the good one, but I had a lot of bad influences.
I mean, I agree with you. I was like both good and bad at the same time. I was bad, but I was never so bad that like there's a few things that I think about that were like bad, but like my parents raised me so well, and I was smart enough that like even the worst shit I got into, I still tended to make a lot of smarter decisions. There's only one particular decision I can think of that was probably really dumb. But like, for example, freshman year of college, it is summer vacation after that. So I'm going to be going into my sophomore year. So my high school was a private school that went from pre-K to 12. I went to the rival high school beforehand. It was an all-boys school. And I was still homies with a couple of the black kids, 2 or 3 of the black kids from that. So we used to kick it all the time. I went with them to a party with a bunch of these rich white kids that went to the all-boys school I used to go to and the all-girls school. We show up. Everybody hella alcohol, but there is a massive fruit bowl in the outside on the patio with just a shit ton of pills in it.
Oh my God.
What's going on? They're like, oh,
I
yeah,
remember that party.
We took everybody's pills, we dumped them in a bowl, shook them up, and we're just playing like just try whatever. And we were like, excuse me? And all three of us, three black dudes, looked at each other and said, yeah, we got to get the fuck out of here. Because all it takes is the cops show up. That's as people have seen in these last couple months. If you didn't see it before, I hope you understand it now. That was a scenario that if the cops show up, one of two things will happen. Either A, they flip the fuck out and the worst case scenario happens and we get our ass beat or killed or whatever the fuck else. Or B, they all slide because they're chill and they're all rich and their daddy's lawyers will get them off. Even if everybody gets arrested that night, that they'll find a way to get off. The rest of us, even though we were like upper middle class, we ain't have stacks like that. Those are charges that we would have had to fucking eat and can't make that shit disappear. And we were like, we got to go. So that's the shit where I give my parents credit that even if I went to a place where I could get in trouble and I even got into trouble, I'm still able to make smart, responsible decisions even within my bullshit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I was the one who my friends would let out, whether they were like grounded, suspended, out past curfew. If I was with them, I was their ticket out because they knew that nothing stupid was like obscenely stupid was going to happen with me around, or at least if it did, I would make sure that nobody died. And like, so I was never the instigator. I was just kind of like the guardian angel. Like I call it sheepdogging.
Okay.
Okay. So I've actually done this. Have you ever gone to New Orleans?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So when you're on Bourbon Street with your boys, you're totally fine. You don't have to watch out for them because they're dudes. As a female, I mean, yes,
I know what you're getting at in that regard, but I was like,
So like, for instance, one year on Beauty and the Beast, we had one of our assistant company manager was engaged to our trumpet player in the orchestra. And so we literally stretched the entire tour into one giant bachelorette party.
Wow.
So when we had like a week sit down, we would literally like go out and explore and like have like a girls' night bachelorette party kind of feel to it. So when we were in New Orleans, we had a lot of like 21, 22 to 24-year-old tiny dancer, beautiful girls. And I was like, this is New Orleans. Y'all are going to get kidnapped, raped, and murdered. Like, because I know you and you've never been here. Like, this is what's going to happen. I'm like, I don't want to go out because I've been to Bourbon Street. This is like the 10th time I've been here in 7 years. I'm totally fine missing out, but I will go and sheepdog. And they're like, what's sheepdogging? And I was like, you'll see it about 10 minutes in. So we all go out, we're doing shots. We, go to the boozy, slushy place and get our yards. And we're wandering down. And all of a sudden one girl, I'm walking like 3 feet behind the whole group. One girl heels off. And I run after her, get her back, and I bring her back in. And as we're going, and then one girl peels off, and I go back, and I bring her in. And someone was like, oh, I get it. And I'm like, yeah, so stay with your fucking, like, do you have your exit buddy? Like, do you have your Bourbon Street buddy? Stay with your buddy. You never separate. You yell my name at the top of your lungs if you need anything, and I will be there. Like, I legit had to throw a girl over my shoulder because she started to, like, get on a pole. And I'm like, we're going home. Like, that's it. Everybody's like, grab the belt loop of the girl in front of you, and we're going back to the hotel.
See, but what makes me sad about that is what if you trying to get some love or some strange? You're out here having to watch everybody else's dumbass.
Not in Bourbon, not in New Orleans. F that. I don't want crabs.
First of all, that's why you keep a shampoo on deck. What the fuck you talking about? Second of all, that's why when you go to Bourbon Street, you make a like I always do. I always did this whenever we go on trips like that. I would go and I would take my STD test results and I would have that motherfucker laminated. Like I would have a smaller version and I put it in
like
my
an ID
wallet.
card.
Yes, and I'd be like, you can see it right here. This is a photocopy of my shit. This is where it's the date that I took it. We good. And like, come on. Like I said, if I was going to
the South wasn't my hunting grounds. My hunting grounds was fucking the Midwest North, like the North Midwest. Oh my God.
You probably could clean up there, actually.
In Madison, Wisconsin, there is about 20 miles outside of town an actual lumberjack college. It was like picking it was like picking a fruit off the floor of an orchard. You didn't even have to reach for it. It was like somebody just handed it to you. It's like, here's the juiciest, beautiful apple you could ever want. Great. Let me take a bite of that.
I'm literally just, and see, that's the whole thing, is that I'm literally imagining you now at this point just being like all of them, you like walk, hey boys, and they're all like, oh shit, they all flip their logs and shit. They're like, hey, how you doing there, Miss Thing? Yes.
The amount of flannel that's been thrown over my bedpost is ridiculous.
I'm sorry, it's just because your mom's in the room.
Mom knows. It's fine.
Hilarious. I just
my mom knows it's fine. It's one of those like, is this healthy or unhealthy for her to know this much about me? But it's fine.
What's the worst like April Fool's Day or prank in general you ever did to your mom?
I don't pull pranks. I don't like them. I think that they're cruel. I'm one of those people that's like, if I don't like it done to me, I'm not going to do it to anybody else. Sure. And I also make sure that people, like, especially on tours, because a lot of people get, you get a little like antsy on tour, and like by the time you're in April, like you're past fuck off February, where everybody gets mean and spiteful and angry, like just the sight of your face, like they could hear your voice and be like, I'm going to murder that bitch. So you get past that and you get into April, and people are getting a little like, oh, we're almost done. But sorry, Mom, we've talked about this. It's fine. But like, I always like to make it very known to everybody that I tour with. And I'm like, look, April Fool's Day is going to happen. If you fuck with me, my delivery, my merchandise, or any of my things, I will end you and you will never, ever work for Disney. Do we understand? You're like, yes. I'm like, great. Go have your fun with everybody else. It's adorable.
I see it. What kind of ended April Fool's Day for me was because the girl I was dating at the time, there was a lot of drama there. There was this, like, kind of back and forth, and you might already guess where this is going, but my two older sisters had both gotten pregnant really young, and so to each of my individual parents. And like, I'd call my dad. I was like, "Hey, Dad, I've been seeing Natalia," and he's like, "Oh, Jesus, did you get her pregnant?" I was like, "I mean, yeah." And he's like, nigga," because he also had his first kid at like 18, so he was just like, I was like, April Fools, and he goes, "That's not funny," and he just hung up the phone, right? So I did it to my mom, but I did it to her in person. I was like, "Hey, Mom, I have something to tell you," and she's like, "What? What's going on?" "Oh God, you flunk out of school?" I was like, "No, I didn't flunk out of school. What, are you gay?" I was like, "No, like, can I just tell you?" And she's like,
"No, I just knocked some chick up."
I was like, "Well, Natalia." I was like, "Oh, Jesus, you got her pregnant. You got that bitch pregnant. You know how I feel about that bitch. God damn it." Like, and I was like, she was like, and she like grabbed her purse, was ready to beat me upside the head. And I was like, and she still beat the shit out of me. Like, "No, nigga, that shit ain't funny. That ain't funny at all." Like,
yeah. No, you don't joke about pregnancy. Mainly because I can't remember who I was talking to about this. I think I was talking about this with the people in the Golden Day on my Patreon this last Sunday, about how pregnancies and deaths always happen in threes. And so, like,
I knew about death. I didn't know about pregnancy.
In my world, it's a pattern that I've noticed. And so, like, in my 20s, somebody would end up pregnant, and I'm like, well, I'm not having sex until the third one. Like, I'm not even risking it, because like my sister got pregnant at 19. Like, my mom, like, our family's just like you've seen my hips. These are childbearing hips. Like, I am not fucking risking that. Like, I don't want kids at all. Like, my mom knows this. I don't want kids. I have given up my life to other people's schedules for 17, 18 years. Like, don't have the energy anymore to like middle of the night feedings just sound awful. I love children, and I will take care of all of my nieces and nephews because I'm raising an army for the apocalypse in my nieces and nephews. But like, I just don't want kids. And so I literally would just be like, I don't care who I'm seeing at this point. I'm like, no, like this isn't happening until 2 other people get knocked up. Like, that's it.
I mean, the funny thing about that is the idea that like, I had a situation where I was hooking up with a coworker and then we stopped. And then I had kind of developed like this, why in my mind do I see Winston's dad as Jay Washington with great? Oh, Jesus. I'll show you a picture of my dad because I know. Fuck no. Hold on. I'll grab a photo. I have one close by.
All right. Well, Winston goes to grab this, guys. If you have any questions, I know we're like an hour in, and there is a Streamlabs that we're gonna ask as soon as Winston gets back and tells the story. But if you have any questions about Winston, send in $5 donation. We'll read it out loud. We'll answer it. It'll be fun.
No way, shape, or form would I ever be all right with him being my daddy. Fuck that. Everybody else is dead. Like, I think it'd be one. It's just specifically our relationship. Hell no. So that's my dad right there. Oh, let me get the focus.
Look at that mustache. Yes.
My dad was like the epitome of that 90s. Like, here's another one. Whoops.
Here's my dad. That's my dad at about my age.
Okay, it's a little pixelated. Your
Minus?
camera. Yeah. It might be my internet.
It might be. I don't know. My dad in this picture was about my age when that got taken. I'm like, no, I'm my father's daughter. Like my dad was the bomb. He was awesome. Always a joke, always a story.
Right.
Always adopting people that I would bring home from like concerts that needed to like spend the night because they couldn't drive back to their house and shit.
Yeah. No, I feel you, but I essentially, so the story I was telling is that I was hooking up with my coworker. We stopped. Mainly because like we had fun, but I didn't really develop like feelings for her, and she started to. So I was just like, hey, if that's how this is going, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So why don't we just be friends, call it a day? And she was sad, but she was like, okay, cool. I met somebody else that lived in Portland, and I was about to go and visit her, like essentially a sexcation up there in Portland. And right, like the night I'm packing, it's like 10 o'clock at night. I have a flight at like 8 a.m. I get a DM from the old coworker, and she was just like, hey, I just want to say, like, you know, I haven't seen you in a while, and I miss you. And I read your mom's book. My mom wrote a book on divorce recovery,
wow,
which was really dope. She's like, I read it, and it's phenomenal. And I gave it to my mom, and it's phenomenal. And my mom, you know, asked me like, when am I gonna, you know, give her a grandchild? I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. I'm glad you guys like the book. She goes, so there's something that I need to tell you. And I was like, oh no. And so like, I'm sitting here. She sends that, right? She doesn't send another message for 30 to 40 minutes. She just she put that out there and then disappeared. So I'm in my room, like being like, question mark, question mark, question mark. Like, you still there? Just nothing. And I'm like, oh God, my life is over. Like, I gotta call the girl and tell her I can't fucking go to Portland. That's not happening. And I was like, oh God, well, I can't act anymore. I have to go get bartending was enough to get me by. Now I gotta go fucking drop everything and go, you know, work tech again or some shit. Like, this is, oh fuck. And so then finally she goes, I just wanted to tell you that I like really like you, and I wanted to know if maybe we could go on a date and like try. And I was like, you don't. The last thing you fucking say is my mom asked when I'm getting a grandkid, and then you say I have something to tell. Are you fucking like I'm saying all this out loud? Like, do you remember the Key and Peele sketch with the misunderstood text where he's like, I'll see you there. I'll see you there. I'll see you there. Like, I was like, I like you, motherfucker. Ooh. woo, like, and then I once I calmed the fuck down, I was like, hey, thank you so much. I know we kind of talked about this before. I don't necessarily feel the same way. I think we should stay friends. I have to go to bed. I'll talk to you later. And I just remember just being like so shook that real talk. And this might be TMI, but I would have been what, 27 at the time.
Oh my God.
I had never in a million, like I had never at that point had any sort of like issues, like if it's go time to like do anything. But I had gotten the news the day before that they thought that my dad's cancer may have come back. So I was waiting to hear those results. And then I got a pregnancy scare. So when I got up there, I legit had some problems, like, you know.
Well, so, dude, you've got a lot on your mind.
And so I like had to apologize to her. I was like, look, I'm really sorry. Like, I really like you and I'm attracted to you, but like, I'll be honest with you. I had this happen with my dad, and then I was like, and I got told I might have had a kid, and the girl was just whatever. So like, we had like a good trip, but it did put a damper on it because like the second night we were there, she surprised me and got like the nicest hotel in downtown Portland with like a fucking view, so we could just like have sex in this crazy fucking suite and like look over the fucking sunset and shit. And I was like, well, I feel horrible that I wasted your money because he's not responding. And Blue Chew wasn't a fucking thing then. So like,
you're only wasting it if you didn't tie your shoes. That's all I'm gonna say. Like,
poor Alex. Alex, well, other than the fact that we share a name, Alex, the fact that she's like, I've never been in that situation, but I've never. Pray that you never are. It was a stressful.
Well, I mean, to be fair, with women, it's one of those like very small, like thin silver linings. It's like that's not something that we have to deal with on a personal level for us, because like there's lube. So
no. You're not fair. That's yeah. I mean, again, and that's honestly, and that's where. That's where to be the fact that they took Viagra and made Blue Chew or whatever other companies that do it. Like that's the thing. I don't need it at all on like a regular thing. The only time that I've ever needed it has been like now at this age, I can get whiskey dick. That was never something that happened when I was younger. Yeah. But now just how things work, the older you get, like you drink too much, nothing's necessarily happening.
To be fair, when you get drunk, a lot of things don't work on your body when you're older. So exactly. So that has been one of the things. But then other than that, the only time that I've really ever used it, ironically, has been like if I saw your mom. That was really mean for her to do. Yeah. It's true.
That's real. And Eric's too. Eric is a Warfather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's right about that too. I've ZMA is something I take to sleep that I've been doing since I started weightlifting again, because it actually does help with free testosterone, which is dope. Yeah, it was just fucking mean as hell.
Yeah, that's not okay. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh shit, something popped up. I'm really sorry. There was an emergency. I'm sorry I didn't respond to you. Versus just like not responding for half an hour.
Completely gone. And regardless of even to come back and be like. Because it would have been one thing if she'd come back and been like, my bad, I was watching a show. Because I had put, there was like a, yes.
If you're watching a show, that conversation.
No. But that's the whole thing. Is that even though she said the good, like I can see someone not necessarily seeing the idea of like, oh, he thought I was pregnant. But like, it was more from the standpoint of like, if you're going to do some wild shit like that, just like, let a motherfucker know. No, that's what I'm saying. It was poor form. It was a poor setup. It was just a terrible fucking setup. And so, like, even if she had come back and apologized, been like, my bad, family dinner, phone died, anything. She just came right back like she didn't fucking. And that's when I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
And no. You're like, yeah, let's totally date. You're totally reliable.
Oh, no. That shut everything the fuck down. Because, like, to me, And you know, I know. And the funny thing is, before like my girlfriend and I started getting together, it was around that and like my ex, that crazy ex that my mom hates, that was on again, off again for like 5 years. there was a breaking point because Ambling Soul Cheryl is right. I am too nice sometimes. I was a big pushover for a long time. A lot of that is being like a fat nerd. Like for a long time, that my personality was just one that was a little more passive, a little bit nicer, stuff like that. Yeah. It took time for me to get to the point of not being a pushover and to not be like I got bullied in middle school, shit like that, you know? So what I do now, I only really am going to physically fight somebody if like it's a scenario like if you threaten somebody I care about. So my sister's been very vocal that in I want to say it was in college that she was assaulted, and she to this day has still not told me the name of the dude because it was somebody she went to school with at some point. Yeah. Because she knows if I ever found out, she's like, I'm afraid my brother would go to jail because she knows I'm dead serious. If I ever find out who this dude is, I'm gonna snap. Probably.
Oh, I found out in high school that a friend of mine was being abused by her boyfriend, and I found out because we had the same PE class, and she was changing late in front of me, and I saw this massive bruise on her back, and I found out that it was him, and I literally changed back into my clothes, hopped in my car, drove over to his house, took a bat to him, and put him in the hospital.
And that's she knows that about me. I am the most nonviolent person ever. But if you fuck with somebody I care about, I go ape shit. It's part of the reason why I like that like weird pivot, but they'll come back to the story. I like Chandru going heel and all that. I don't have a problem with people hating like, God damn it, he's like, fuck him in that dance. But when people start questioning his character and actually attacking him in the same way that when people want to try and say you don't belong or whatever shit, I get feral. I've had Christian multiple times has had to call me off, being like, you gotta stop. And I was like, then tell them to keep it lit. Like if they want to come for like Chandru, the chosen one, as in the character, that's fine. But the minute they start coming for him as a person, especially a person of color, I am going off on somebody. They'll think I'm all nice. You think I'm all nice, fun, and games, and like even I don't want to fully get into it because that'll open a can of worms. But everything that went down with Burnett and RB3 and all that, same thing. Yeah. I was just sitting there waiting, and if it wasn't for, and it was going to be very apparent. It depended on how Christian was going to handle the situation, what my response was going to be. Honestly,
I mean, you're not the only one. I will say this: you are not the only one that was waiting to see what that response was going to be for us to respond to that, because I guarantee you, like, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now if it had turned out a different way.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things where like what I appreciate is I know that Christian and Mark are trying to make the most inclusive product and community as possible. I appreciate that they are taking stances against the sexism that happens, the racism that happens. There's a lot of growth that needs to be done, but we're moving in the right direction. So what Warfather said, a lot of people felt that way because, to be honest with you, that's what happened a week ago. What he suggested on Twitter, and I'm not going to resurface this back up because I really don't want to start no shit. I don't think anybody here cares. Like, if anything, they're all on the same side here. Yeah. What he suggested on Twitter is exactly what happened, and 2 people got murdered and somebody lost an arm. And that's a fucking problem. That is part of the reason why, on top of the fact that you have a situation where, and what we had a conversation with him behind the scenes, it was the explanation of when you say that, what's funny is most of the people that have genuinely been starting riots have been dissenters that have been out here trying to smear the name of Black Lives Matter. There have been some, I'm not going to pretend like there aren't some Black people that are hella frustrated that have done some shit. There have been. But a lot of them have been dissenters. When they come out with those guns, they're like, you caught this dude killed and maimed 3 white people. But that call to action, which Trump has also himself said, that shit is mainly pointed at Black people that are doing this. This is your excuse to go shoot Black people. And that was what we had to try and explain.
All of this, like, it's one of those things that, like, I haven't posted a lot about it because I am very empathetic. I feel things incredibly deeply, and also, like, with everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter, like, my oldest niece is going to be 19 in April, and she's half Black and lives in Florida. So, like, I am constantly terrified for her, because she's also an Amazon. Like, she's not this tiny, like, wilting flower. Like, she has a presence to her. She also has a mouth to her, which I like to take pride for. But she, you know, like, you can't be all of those things and be safe. And that is what terrifies the shit out of me. So when all of this keeps going on and people keep like speaking out about those things in ways that they have absolutely no knowledge about, it really breaks my heart. And it really takes a lot of me not to like when things like this happen, I have two settings. I have sit in my room and cry and just literally feel the weight of the world and be heartbroken, or I grab an axe and I go out and I start chopping people up. Like, it's a one or the other kind of thing. And I don't want to like be that, you know, that white girl that like goes out and acts on behalf of this, because that's just, it's not productive. And so I don't speak about it, and I just sit and I try and like put myself in a bubble and make sure that I'm okay. I make sure that the people that I love and care about are okay. And it's a terrible fucking situation, and I can't fucking stand it. But everybody, yeah, I know. Yes, my Streamlabs are on. I am reading the questions. I know, Patrick, you submitted something. I will ask. Streamlabs. Sorry, I just had to re-up. Michael K says, "Hey Winston, aside from Dragon Ball Z, what was the first series that really got you into anime? For me, it was Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho. That's one of the early ones for me. Yu Yu Hakusho was fucking great. Gundam Wing, Cowboy Bebop. I mean, all the Gundams for sure, but like Gundam Wing in particular. I mean, those would probably be the main entry points. A lot of people don't realize that like Thundercats and like the Transformers was also anime. They didn't realize they were watching anime.
Yeah, I did not until you literally just said it right now. I was like, huh.
Like, just think about the animation style. Even without, if you wouldn't looked, you'd be like, oh. But if you just think about the animation style for half a second, go, oh shit, that is kind of anime. Also, we come up with some weird shit like the Ninja Turtles and whatnot. Yep, that he's right. But there's nothing that much weirder than alien cats that came down to Earth to fight an alien mummy cat. One of them has a sword that grows the more he yells. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's some Japanese fucking anime shit if I've ever heard in my entire life, man. Like,
I would have the biggest sword ever. And then PC, love you, babe, sent in two. She said, "Hey, two of my favorite Schmoedown people, Switchblade. What did you think of Winston's accent fanny pack bit done all day?" That shit was hilarious. It's also one of those things that like Winston was talking earlier about like doing promos and stuff like that. Like, I gotta tell you, doing my promo for the match against Liz was so hard because she's so nice. And like person. I feel like there's not there's not a character that I can like play with her. Like, I feel like it's just her, and I feel like that's just it later on down the road it could be very it could lead to maybe a problem or two, because you need to have that character, A, for just dealing with asshole people on the internet, and B, like, in order for like the other players to play around with. So it was really hard to like talk about her without like trying I feel you. And trying to attack her. And also, like, I just adore her. She is very sweet and very kind and just like wonderful.
Well, we had it. So that was the whole thing. After drafting her, me and her grabbed a beer just so I could get to know her more and all that kind of stuff. We had a long talk about it, including because part of it is you know, she didn't take kindly to when she lost to Oyama. I mean, Oyama and Kaiser and them, you know, they do what the dungeon does. And, you know, she was by herself and she was just like, I'm not a big fan of this. Like, I don't know why y'all being like kind of rude to me. But then more importantly, it was more she being a professional writer and critic, she's dealt with men on the internet. I'm sure you have too, but she's dealt with it so much she actively doesn't put herself in any situations that might do that. She, like, when Ethan brought her in, it was just like, oh, this is a fun trivia thing, blah, 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 blah. So she gets what's going on and she likes it, but she's just like, I don't really like that stuff. And I was like, great, then this is how we're going to solve this problem. You go out there and you do whatever the fuck you need to do to win and be a fucking great one, and I will do everything else. I will take the slings and arrows. I will be your sword and your shield. Like, we good. You just be cute with Tank Girl and all that other stuff, and I will handle it. And that's kind of what it was. Is like, the funny thing is before we even filmed the match, I filmed that promo, and I was, like I said, I was doing 5 at once. So I was just going through my costume drawer, because every actor that does that defines or does improv has a costume drawer. And I was like, oh, my lab jacket. All right, I'm gonna come up with some random shit. And that's why I was like, I'm gonna pretend to do a doctor thing and just improvise that whole fucking thing, including that we'll get you out of that den and you can find you some real pride. Like, I just was like,
I mean that line had me laughing, but I also love the fact that, like, it just was a random thing where I've been the one that's always been like, drip, drip, you need to see a doctor about that. Like, there's an ointment for that. Like, I constantly am like addressing that. And the fact that you came out as a doctor, I legit like started crying laughing. I was laughing so hard. I was like, you motherfucker.
I mean, yo, man. Yo, I don't know if you heard the up, because the music was there, but my opening line is like me coming out of the other room and being like, oh yeah, give her 12 cc's of pasta stat, because I was coming out of my kitchen because I don't have a very big apartment. So I figured if, like, coming out of that curtain, someone could see the refrigerator. So I was just like, I'm gonna make some shit up. We'll see what happens. But
like, I didn't already have 12 cc's of pasta in me, bitch, please.
Right. But that's the whole thing. I very much, just because she's such a joy to work with and to train with, I very much want to find a way to get Liz back. I mean, I obviously have a lot of hard fucking decisions to make next year. But
you
like
everyone else, it's going to be an interesting January.
No, for sure. I people are giving me more shit though than a lot of the other factions, in the sense that, like, between Ace's run, Chandru winning a title, Paul and Lon doing everything that they're doing, Liz having that great opening match, and we'll see what happens going forward. But like, but she also TKO'd with Adam. What were they called? That was the whole "will you accept this L?"
Right.
That was the first team the final exam played. What was?
I can't remember.
I don't.
You're asking me to remember something in February that basically in my mind happened a decade ago. I know, right? No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they had a teams match and it was fantastic. They did really well.
It's just like just out the gate. I mean, that's 5 people that I want to hold on to. So the one thing that I hope, whatever, like, if I for some reason don't get to retain Liz, I hope that whoever drafts her understands that
who she is.
Yeah, and knows what it is that she needs. I 1,000% need people to understand, and that to me has been the big thing about managing. It is 1,000% as much about managing personalities and needs as it is helping train. And I feel like I've really formed like a strong bond with pretty much everyone. Some people have been less connected for various reasons, scheduling, stuff like that. But like everybody that y'all have seen out there, like, I mean, we're having all sorts of meetings and trainings and joking around and setting up code words, knowing that we're available to the enemy. So like that nothing is just given away for free, and it seems like it's part of our shtick, but our shtick has the words encoded as to what we need.
I hate that we have to do that. Like, I know how fun it is for the fans to get to see that like backstage thing, but like, guys, as a competitor and a manager, we can literally tell you it's fucking awful. It's the worst. I cannot wait to get back into studio.
I might be the only one that enjoys it. I might be literally the only person. And I think the reason why is, other than obviously...
I know why you like it.
Wait, why? Why? Dude, what am I going to say?
Because you're such a fucking nerd that you get to use passcodes and like secret words and phrases. And it's fun that way.
That's part of it. But the other thing is, it is an opportunity, and I've watched it happen in other competitors' eyes before. other than my narcissistic, I'm a performer, so any screen time I get, of course, I'm going to eat that shit up. More importantly, when I clown or anything else like that, I have literally watched other competitors either get angry or get worried. I'm pretty decent at reading body language. So like I know how badly Demolanta wanted to win that tournament. Mm-hmm. And I know that like after that first round, because Demolanta, I believe, went perfect and got the bonus. So Ace was behind by 2. And I did that whole let's go trip, just a fucking clown, and Ace started laughing. I saw Demolanta get angry. And I was like, ooh, oh baby, you taking this too seriously. That's gonna be your downfall.
There's a chink in your armor right there.
You big man. You big man.
Well, I found it. It's a little hole. I'm gonna poke.
And that's been my thing. I know just as much as it's about getting my guys and gals in the right headspace, it's equally as much about fucking with somebody else. And if I can say something as like a tiny little dig and it shakes your confidence, and your manager isn't good enough to get you to, because I've seen it happen with certain opponents before. If they can't calm you down, then
they can't bring you back to here. It will.
Let's go.
Screw with your head.
It's as much warfare as anything else. So
yeah. PC does have another question. She says, Winston, have you and Jay thought of the name for us Blurs in the Hood fans? Rachel has the Switchblade Syndicate, for example, which I do. If you want to, it's my fan page. I still feel weird saying that, but if you want to search Switchblade Syndicate on Facebook, join the group.
Sure.
Have a lot of fun. Yeah.
The first thing I suggested, which in retrospect is a terrible idea, I joked, what if they were like the Blurred Rats, because it's Blurs in the Hood instead of Hood Rats.
Red Rats.
And I was like, nah. Like as I've heard it, I'm like, that's a terrible nickname.
It's so funny though. I want the shirt.
But people just wouldn't like. You might get like I'm a Blurred Rat or some shit as like a catchphrase, but maybe not as the fan nickname. Because then, we thought about Blurred Fam, Blurred Nation. I mean, we gotta play around with it. I'm honestly not sure what to call.
Yeah, I mean, you could just call them Blurreds.
Yeah, but and the only thing is though, which is why I think a more inclusive whatever is that if you remember, I mean, obviously a Blurred being a black nerd. Yeah. There is a certain level of certain fans don't necessarily fall under it. So it would work if it was used as a descriptor. If it's the Blurred fam, it's just the fam that is a part of that Blurred community versus to just call them Blurreds doesn't always apply. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And just so we can explain to Mama Silvestrini, Blurreds is a black nerd.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. Just be aware. I literally, she calls me after the show to like give me show notes. It's adorable. And she'll be like, what was this that you were referring to? What movie was this? Like, so every now and then I just like to get ahead of those calls and just like take a few of those questions off as we can go through.
Have you ever seen our show?
Yeah, I've watched a few.
So like I almost am tempted to just name it like the Cat Funeral Gang or some shit like that, because we play that shit every single show, which in and of itself is so ridiculous, but I feel like would be pretty fucking funny.
There are a few suggestions in the comments. Blurred Squad. Oh,
that's
Blurred Lumps.
Blurred Lumps.
The Blurred Hood.
Blurred Herd. I don't hate that.
Blurred Nights.
It might just be me. Oh Lord Jesus! Like it's just so ridiculous. It is the dumbest. It is the dumbest fucking thing, but it makes me laugh every fucking time.
And we need that these days. And also, like, I also laugh at like the most inappropriate times ever. Because I find I can address serious things, but I also like to address them with humor because I think that it, breaks the tension and, makes things a little bit lighter for people to deal with. But like I've literally had friends that have refused, and family members that have refused to go to movies with me because like I went to go see the 2009 Star Trek, and when they're on the planet Vulcan and they're trying to like it got shot with the red matter and everything's getting destroyed in the cave and they're all running out.
I then now don't know what you're talking about. I don't think for like half a second I was fully locked in, because now I realize I've never seen a Star Trek before. I've seen some episodes of the show, but I was always such a big Star Wars fan.
Gotcha.
I just didn't jack into it as much, but yeah.
But there's this one part where like they're all trying to like run out and like almost everybody's out, and then all of a sudden this massive statue just falls and crushes the guy, and I start cracking up. I'm like, can't escape death. Like, when it's your time, it's your time. And my stepmom is sitting next to me. She's like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, I'm sorry. Ow, it's funny. Like, okay, I'm sorry.
Oh shit, you did that right. Oh shit, you've been raided, girl.
Action Army raid, guys. This is like so great. It's been so long since I've gotten a raid. I mean, we did do a POV raid earlier, apparently. But this is so sweet. We do have Patrick Harden. Thank you so much for the donation. He says, in a world of messed up junk, enjoy some good luck once in a while. Rachel and Winston, what was the last book that transported you somewhere else? Fucking great question.
Last book that transported me somewhere else. I'll be honest, I'm not a big reader. I am in the sense that I'll read a lot of like either like self-help books.
Comic books.
Okay, all right. If we're counting comics, then probably Avengers versus X-Men. I really love that storyline. I think that one is really good. But I was gonna say other than that, just like straight book, I mean, probably the Harry Potter series. I reread them every now and again, but most of my reading is either the news or self-help books. So like I'm on a journey to fix like my credit and get out of debt right now. So like I read one of those, which was really great. And then I've read a lot of children's books recently just because my nieces and nephews. So there's a lot of that. But yeah, I guess that was it for the most part. Manga, hella manga, I guess. I go on dips. Like I'll be reading online and I look up and I go from, I'm just going to read like 2 or 3 chapters. Then it's been 4 hours later and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was always that kid that I was constantly reading. My dad would bring home, my dad was a security guard at Lockheed Martin Missiles in Space up in Sunnyvale, California. And he would like bring a ton of books. He would work like the midnight or the like the 3 p.m. to midnight shift. So he would constantly just like bring a ton of books and like read, and then he would bring them home for me. And so I have a series that I read about every other year. It's called the Immigrant Series by Howard Fast. It is fantastic. It is historical fiction about the history of California. And it covers everything from like the earthquake in San Francisco in 1904 all the way through the gold rush era but like through Prohibition and like the creation of like World War I and World War II, and the fact like the creation of like the whole aviation, the creation of the Bank of America, Hollywood coming up in the golden era. Like it is so fascinating. It's told through like these 3 families, and you just like the families are fictional, but the events are actually historical. It is phenomenal. There's like 5 books, and I've had to buy the first book like 3 times over now because I buy them used, so like they're already kind of a little beat up. First of all, like I miss that used bookstore smell. Like, you know, you walk into a used bookstore and you just like, it smells musty and magical, and like you kind of want to find, you know, the never-ending story and just like disappear into.
So you've been to the last bookstore in LA, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is fantastic. Like if I could set up a cot in the 3rd story and just live there, I would. I would just read my way through all of those books. Was it the sorry, I have my books right behind me. The Little Paris Bookshop is fantastic. Highly recommend that one. The Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern is fantastic. It's magic and fantasy and like battle magic and love. It is phenomenal. Highly recommend those books. But it's also one of those things that like I dive into a book and after a certain point, like it's like those movies that start off like reading a book and then all of a sudden like the pages start flipping and you just see a movie. Like that's my brain. Like I stop reading words and I just see the images in my head and as I flip through the pages. Like,
see, the problem is I've always been a little bit of a space cadet where like I not only do I read kind of slow, I'll be that person that'll read a whole page and then go to the next page and go, wait, what the fuck did I just read? And then I'll go back and I'll get stuck in that Groundhog Day time loop,
right,
on like the same page, a couple pages for a while, and I can't, because my mind wanders too much. And so there have been exceptions. It's part of the reason why I love the Harry Potter books is that I do get kind of lost in it. But it's never been something that I got super into, which is why comics for me, I did jack in a little bit more in graphic novels, because I'm captivated by the imagery as well as the story that I'm reading.
Right. Well, there's two different aspects to focus on. There's the artwork that's telling like the fleshing out of the story, and then there's the text that is just the words of the story, like the verbiage. Sorry, I'm so excited for this. Danny Ramirez, I love you, baby girl. She did such a great job at the desk for our match, guys. Yeah. She's amazing. I hope she gets brought back. But there is a book, and I can't remember where I put it. But it is something that here it is. I recommend this book. This is something that we all probably read in like elementary school, but I highly recommend it. Like it means so much. It's so different when you read it in your 30s or whatever. But the Phantom Toll Booth is I highly recommend it. It's about this kid that goes into another world and like experiences all these different things. Like there is such imagery, and it's written for kids, but like while you read it, so like it's one of those things where like they don't use big words, but like the imagery in it and just the way that it, like the cadence of the words, like it's so beautiful, it's so wonderful. And I remember reading this as a kid and being like, oh, this is fun and fantasy and adventure. And then like I reread it, I think I read it on my 30th birthday, and it meant something completely different to me. And it changed the context, and it was just one of those fantastic.
That's one of the things that does make me sick, because I did used to read a lot. Like I used to read the Boxcar Children. I fucking loved that.
Oh, fuck yes!
I used to read Animorphs. I fucking loved Animorphs. That like I want to say I read pretty much every book of those when they were still running. So I used to, but it was also stuff that I just it's also just that I just haven't really, it's not something that I ultimately developed. Oh my God.
Patrick?
Yeah, bro. Wow. Thank you so much. Holy shit.
Patrick is amazing. Thank you so much for, I don't know what he sent you, but I know what he sent me, and that is, bro, it's huge.
Or do fun or do both. I'm tempted to put it in like, so my current I have like a split feeling on what to do, because my current fundraiser I'm doing on Twitch is for a road trip. I'm planning a road trip with my girlfriend.
Where are you going?
To go down back home to Texas, just to say hi to my dad and kind of drive down there and hang out and all that. I'm very tempted, because everything that's coming in through any of those Twitch streams, I just put in a separate fund to just go towards that. But at the same time, I took this week off because I booked, I can't say what, but I booked a network sitcom. An episode. Did. So but COVID protocols are no fucking joke. And dude, so seriously. I have been on complete lockdown, with the exception of, I had to go do laundry because they wanted me to bring in my own clothes to like compare some stuff. So I went to my buddy's place, and then I went to my trips to the grocery store, and then anything which at this point I should be pretty done with the grocery store. I bought enough. See, they want you to be like fat and unhealthy, because it was $400 to get enough food for ingredients for like Whole30. But especially at knowing I can't leave the house for a week. It ran me $400 fucking dollars.
Wait, did you say $400 for a week?
Not necessarily for like the full week, because like there are some things. So for example, since you can't have dairy, you can't have sugar, you can't have all this stuff.
Right.
There was a number of sauces and marinades and stuff that I could have tried to make on my own, which I didn't want to because it's a lot of work. Like some of these sauces were going to take an hour to 2 hours at a time. And I was like, cooking already is going to take time. That's a hard pass.
Amazing.
So like finding some of these sauces that are like Whole30 approved, just getting enough of them was going to be expensive as a base, as well as getting certain foods as a base. So like a couple pounds of potatoes, a couple pounds of sweet potatoes, stuff like that. Thank you guys. Thank you. Dude,
all the love is rolling in for you.
I appreciate that, y'all. I really do. And I'm super excited about it. But it was partially getting a base for the diet, but it was also, I'm not going to be able to go back to the grocery store right now, so I have to do this all at once. So I went to Costco, which was about $180, and then the rest of the grocery store trips were about $210. And I mean, for that, knowing that, what got a little frustrating is knowing that I had to stay home means that I'm not Instacarting, which means I didn't have any money coming in actively. So what I'm tempted to do, this is with my I talk so much. I will probably take that money and put to the side as like, since I didn't, instead of going in the road trip fund, that's probably going to go in the I didn't work this entire week fund, because even though I'll get money from the sitcom, it's nothing to write home about. Like, it's good money, but it's nothing to write home about. And I have to pay out an agent and a manager and pay taxes on it. So what would be like $1,500 will end up being like $600. So I essentially lost a week's worth of work for like $600, but it's worth it because it's furthering the career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's you're
sitting out for a big time payoff later, and that's completely understandable. Okay, we have a few more Streamlabs to get to, because I mean we're getting late, and I know you're tired, but like you and I can talk for hours. Amblin Soul sent in a Streamlabs, says, for the pitchforks when you need them. Thank you, darling. Danny Ramirez sent in Streamlabs, said, gotta know your favorite 90s R&B group or album or song. Okay, that is a very loaded question, Danny. I think I gotta go Salt and Pepper.
Not bad. Just as
wait. Was that R&B? Okay, R&B. Yeah. I mean, that's rap. R&B. Ooh. Now you're just like sending me back to my childhood, making me all happy about, like, there was a radio station, 94.9, that would go like it was their after hours show, and they would just play like all like baby making music, R&B, and like,
bro, the shit that was being played on the radio that like as a kid, like, ooh, I wanna set you up. Like you can't listen to that at 8, but I did.
I mean, you shouldn't, but we did.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about
you and me. Let's talk about
all the good things and the bad things that make me. But to real quick though, Jeremy, Backstreet Boys isn't R&B. They're pop. So is NSYNC. They're pop. Like R&B is like Boys to Men, Drew Hill. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be black, but like the sound is very the sound is very different. They're similar, but like, you know what I mean?
Would you consider En Vogue R&B? Because then that's my favorite group.
Yes, En Vogue counts for sure.
Okay, then my favorite song is "What a Man" by Salt and Pepper and En Vogue, because that music video was a sexual awakening for me.
Wait, which one?
What a Man.
Oh, yo,
are you kidding me?
I remember when puberty started. Puberty started when I watched the Genie in the Bottle video for the first time. I was like, I'll rub you the right way. I don't know what that means,
but the dirtiest white girl ever.
And she was out here just doing like this. I was like,
with her with those low cut flare whitewash jeans and like
I honestly
3-day-old eye makeup and like a really shitty bleach job. Oh God, I love Christina, but damn, that was some rough times.
but real talk, I can't watch that video without immediately turning back into a 13-year-old and be like, and like people want to be like, oh, that's gross. She was like 16. I was like, no, but you don't get it. I was
16.
I was like, I was younger. I would have, like, now that I think about it, because that came out in what, 96?
Oh yeah, I was 12 when that came out.
So like I was born in 87. So like I wasn't even 10 yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of those things where I was just like, oh my God.
Yep.
Like, so I just, man.
No, the What a Man music video instantly opened my eyes to the beauty that was Black men. And then I started watching a lot of like Morris Chestnut movies. And...
Shakira's song "Whenever Wherever" did that shit too.
Oh yeah.
Like,
you gotta think for tiny little white girls. I mean, that makes sense.
Shakira ain't white. Shakira,
pale.
Colombian.
Pale.
She Colombiana. No, I mean, but there's a lot of other shit too. I mean, first
I'm sorry. Can we pause for a second? We have a ghost in the stream.
Oh, hey.
Hi, honey.
Hi, honey. All right.
I just saw you creeping, and I'm like, well, let's bring Paul on for a hot second. Paul, what was the music video that started your sexual awakening?
Oh, gotta be Madonna Borderline.
Oh, wait, Borderline and not Truth or Tell?
It was Borderline because I don't know. I was really young. I was like 7 or 8, I think. But like it was, I don't know the way she was dressed in those pure 80s outfits, and I was an 80s boy. I was like, oh, this is a girl. This is a girl from there at this point.
I love Janet Jackson, but when she started making those music videos in the 90s, I was kind of like, oh, wait a minute.
I mean, look,
all right.
I'm trying to think, because there was Tina Turner did it for me. Like, that was a big deal. But like, honestly, all of the In Vogue stuff was just like, whoop. But I'm trying to think. There was Aaliyah. Oh God,
dude.
The
Boy Is Mine.
The Boy Is Mine too, but this was much later. This was in college, and I got in an argument with my buddy about like who was going to marry Rihanna. Rude Boy. And you know what it is, Rachel? It has nothing to do with them being small or white or anything like that. It's hit move. No, real talk. It's hit movement. Think about it. Genie in the Bottle, the whole time she's doing like this, Shakira, but fucking Rude Boy, Rihanna and Rude Boy. Oh my God. Like, you want to talk about the Washington Thick. Like, oh my God.
That's fair.
Janet Jackson, Black Cat. I was going to
Janet Jackson, just Janet Jackson. Like, Janet Jackson, Revolution, Janet Jackson, Scream, which is, in my opinion, one of the best music videos ever made with her and Michael. What was it? All For You. I still know that dance because I watched that music video 1,000 times. Like, I wanted to be a backup dancer for Janet so badly, and then I realized I couldn't because she never had a white girl. She had like 2 white girls, and like that was it. But they both had like that like 90s like spiky pixie cut, and I'm like, I would not look good with that cut. But yeah, no, like everything Janet. I mean, Janet's got some songs in her repertoire that are just. Woo,
yeah.
Girl,
no,
attitude.
I disagree with Jeremy, not Janet over Michael, but I will give. But I will give.
Person?
Well, if that's what you're talking about, but also he did. So like, I gotta go there. I was gonna say I will give it to Peggy though. Janet over Madonna. I 1,000% agree. With that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Madonna was the first. But Janet,
I love Janet. I love Madonna. Like a Prayer and everything was. She had super fun, whatever. But like, dude, Janet just had so. Yeah. Tony Braxton.
Oh, that's a good one. Ooh.
That whole album, like every single music video from that album is just fantastic. Somebody mentioned what was it? Unbreak My Heart the other day, but they like didn't name Tony Braxton, and I was like,
Say you love me again. Yo, Brandy used to be bad. I mean, I'm not saying that she's not now, but like I just remember her back in the day, like her singing her song. Oh man, oh man.
It's true.
That's very true. That's damn true.
Completely agree. Yeah, dude, Janet's album, Janet. Yeah, 100%. I still listen to that album every now and then. And like we used that album a lot for I don't know if anybody knows. Not only was I a cheerleader in high school, but I was also a dancer. And we like White Girls Got Rhythm. Like I can move it and shake it. I got
Maya. Oh my God, Maya. And I had a massive crush on both Debrat and Eve.
Oh, you can't do that. That's playing with fire. That's great. Yeah.
What was on the screen? My bad. What happened? I missed it.
I don't know. I can't. I'm trying to follow, but everybody keeps like putting up so many amazing.
I was a big 80s boy. I'm not gonna lie. I love the 80s, like the big cock rock videos too. I'm not gonna lie. The Poison, the Warrant, Cherry Pie, all that stuff. That was me back in the 80s. That was
the best video.
Go ahead.
Oh, the best music video ever made was November Rain by Guns N' Roses, and I will die on that hill. That is the longest music video in history. It is so good. That and I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. Like those are just like I don't know if Chris Clark is in here, but Chris Clark would agree with me 100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Fucking LC, bro. Like they were all
TLC.
So fun. Dude, Creep and Red Light Special.
Red Light Special. We stole a lot of moves from Red Light Special for some of our cheer song for some of our because I was a dancer for the first 2 years as a cheerleader. We stole a lot of our choreography from that music video.
Yeah. Yo, Peggy with the lyrics. What you gonna do when you can't say no and the feelings start to show?
My God.
I really need to know that. How you gonna act? How you gonna handle that? What you gonna do when she wants you back? Yep.
Man. God, it's so good. I literally started listening to my 90s R&B station on Spotify, and just like over and over again. It's just like,
yo, is Kaiser in this bitch?
Oh, he's there.
Is he?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Right,
there he is.
He said some shit. Winston, did you make them pay you in Canadian money like you did me?
There you go.
And then I said, he was like, oh shit. Is that Kaiser? Wait a minute. Open one of those again. I have to see this photo up close again. Is that really Kaiser?
Yeah, that's Kaiser.
It posted.
No. But that photo, he's so young. I don't recognize him.
Oh, that's Baby Kai. That's baby. That's
Kaiser.
You know who that is? That's Lil Jon.
Yeah. Like for half a second, I was like, "Is that the Barbarian? Like, what is going on? Like, young Kaiser looks young Barbarian."
Well, guys, I hope that you're.
I had a good lawyer. I got out second half of the 90s. I had a very good lawyer.
I feel like the last music video Paul saw was like "Video Killed the Radio," and then like that was his Vice City cops chasing him fucking song and shit. Then he got arrested, bro. Went to jail for a decade.
It is what it is, my friend.
Oh my God. We do have another Streamlab. Jake sends in $20, says, here's a few beers on me tonight. All the love, y'all. Love you so much, Jake. Like, you are just my heart and soul. I don't know what I'd do without you. You're my favorite. And then PC says, I need to go back and listen to the beginning of this episode. You guys are so entertaining together. Thank y'all. Dude, PC, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but like, I do have some of the best guests on this show. Like every conversation I get to have, it's always with people that I love and adore and respect. And it's always on things that we have a shared love of. So how do you not like, I could listen to somebody who's passionate, talk about as something that they're passionate about for hours and hours. And I hope you guys can do the same, which is why I keep doing this. But yes, dude, Chris Taylor, I miss the 90s too.
I do too.
I miss them so much. I miss my puka shell necklace, and I miss my flower dresses and my Doc Marten combat boots and pretending that I was a hippie with like spikes on my. I miss it all. I miss being scared to go into Hot Topic
we were scared of going into Hot Topic. I mean, I won't lie. From the outside, I was like, "There's a lot going on in there." But
constantly loud, angry music. It was dark in there. It was constantly black lights in certain weird areas. And people that worked there were very pale with very bright colored hair and spikes coming out of their face. And my mom was like, "You're never going in there." And then I turned out the way I did. So
right, I just miss it because I didn't realize how much I was gonna miss. None of us do. How much I was gonna miss being a kid. Like no responsibility. Like the best fucking cartoons. I don't care what the fuck these kids say, and I watch a lot of cartoons now. The best cartoons, man. Like even our shitty ones, like were incredible. Like Street Sharks.
Oh my god, yes.
Bucky O'Hare, which only had like a season and some change. Like James Bond Jr. Did you know that there was a James Bond Jr.? Because I did a Saturday morning cartoon episode of Actually, the like game show that they do over at I think it's College Humor or whatever.
Yeah. And
it was on that. And I remember James Bond Jr. And like they were like, "How do you know this?" And I just started singing the song. I was just like, Bond, ba, ba, James Bond Jr. Ba, na, na, na.
Oh my god!
He learned the game from his uncle James, and he's there. He's the heir to the name James Bond. Like just fuck.
Yes, I mean
yes.
To be fair, that literally describes like 85% of the 90s cartoon entertainment. But I gotta say, Peggy Gibbons has my heart. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and every. I have them on DVD. Like I love the Gummy Bears so much. God, it's just the best.
Yeah, but like fuck, man, because it was Street Sharks. They did that because there was so much hype after the Ninja Turtles. Everybody was trying to catch that magic. So you had Street Sharks. You had Biker Mice from Mars.
Oh my god, yes.
You had the Mighty Ducks
fucking
show
right.
where the Mighty Ducks were like they were ducks from a duck planet, but they came to Earth to like
play hockey.
But then they played hockey because that's what everybody does on Duck World. But then they're also superheroes.
Yep. Man, I remember that show. I grew up I mean, to be fair, Joshua Jackson was probably my first crush as Charlie in the Mighty Ducks, which has grown as he has grown. But like that trilogy was amazing, and then I became a hockey fan, and then the Mighty Ducks became like the Anaheim Ducks, and like then the cartoon came out, and I was like, this is just everything is for me. Yeah. Everything is for me.
Yeah, I mean, even like think about it. So you had all of that: the X-Men, the animated series, Spider-Man, the animated series. You had Batman, the animated series. Then you had the Cartoon Network shit. So you had Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo,
dude.
You had Rugrats. You had fucking Doug. Like you just had a litany of just these shows. It was the shit, and I fucking wish we could go back, man.
And not only the animated shows, but like the live shows. Salute Your Shorts, Hey Dude, Clarissa Explains It All that. Like, dude, those things were amazing. I actually caught a few. I can't remember where I was, but they were playing like old school Nick shows, and I watched 4 hours of Hey Dude, Salute Your Shorts, and Clarissa Explains It All. And like I remember being like 10 years old and watching Clarissa Explains It All and being like, I hope when I grow up I have a Sam who like climbs into my window and like all I hear is like the wow wow wow. Like that's all I want in my life.
Oh, 1,000%. I do like the sad thing is like as a kid, the fact that I was relating to Gordo and Lizzie McGuire and being like, hey man, like he just loves his best friend, but like she ain't feeling him like that, but they're good friends. And I was like Gordo.
And then the Lizzie McGuire movie came out.
When they finally got together, I was like, oh shit, there's hope, Jesus. But someone said all that and Keenan and Kel. Oh my god.
Good Burger.
Oh, here it goes. Yeah, Good Burger. Fuck. Rocko's Modern Life. That was my shit. Rocko's Modern Life. The Angry Beavers, Our Real Monsters.
Oh my god, Ren and Stimpy.
Yo, the
Animaniacs.
best. It was the best lineup that you could ever fucking ask for as a child of the 90s, right?
Yep. Although, have you gone back and rewatched them?
Yeah. Most of them
so
are
fucking weird.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let us watch this.
Yeah. Which watched
you-
what? Watch all the shows or just some
all
of
it.
Yeah,
all
they're
of
all
it.
weird.
It's
Like
so weird.
Even Doug, like watching Doug now. Oy. But okay, so
Doug.
here's your lineup. You get home, right? You have time for you hit Toonami, so you get fucking like Dragon Ball and Yu Yu Hakusho and Gundam and Sailor Moon and all that. Then you end up getting Power Rangers because that's on at 5. Then you get Doug. Then after Doug, you get Rugrats. Then you get Legends of the Hidden Temple. Then fucking Supermarket Sweep comes on Lifetime.
Oh my god!
Like my parents didn't need to fucking worry about me because from 4 until like 8:30, and at that point they're trying to rip me from the TV, and I'm like, nah, fuck y'all, I'm watching these shows. Like,
Can I tell you? And I know that we all feel this way when they announced that they were redoing Supermarket Sweep.
do you know how upset I am? Because I had applied and they said I couldn't do it because I had too many fucking credits. Like literally crushed my soul.
I
My soul.
I applied and they told me that I didn't have enough recognizable, or that I wasn't recognizable enough, and I was like,
What does that mean?
I don't know. They wanted people that were like relatable and shit, and I was like, I am literally the average white girl.
Oh,
might be a little tall,
okay.
Not recognizable, relatable.
Relatability. Okay, relatability.
And recognizable. They were like, because they asked for like all of your YouTube stuff and like all that. They're like, oh well, you're not that famous, and I was like,
But that's
I
bullshit.
know.
I got the complete opposite where like my girlfriend was the one that actually submitted, and because I already thought in my head I didn't want to get my hopes up. I was like, oh my god, I probably will not be allowed to do this, so I'm just not even going to try. But that's like a dream of mine. So she submitted it, and they were like looking at it, and I was like, oh my god, are we going to be on Supermarket Sweep? Are we going to be a fucking Supermarket Sweep? And they're like, babe, I'm so sorry. They said that you have too many credits. Like they saw your Disney Channel thing and whatever else, and I was like, man, fuck. Like, and I was, but I have the best fucking Halloween costume in the goddamn world.
Oh boy.
So I ran this by Kristen. So we're going to dress up as Supermarket Sweep contestants. We're already stolen a shopping cart. We're gonna get the sweatshirts made and everything. We're gonna dress Shuri up. We're gonna put one of those bonus stickers. She's gonna be one of the bonuses.
I would steal her in a heartbeat.
And then take a wild guess who our host is gonna be.
Is it Mark Ellis?
No, though that would be fun because this is gonna be even funnier.
Is it Josh McCouga?
It is not. So do you know who's hosting the new iteration of Supermarket Sweep?
Oh motherfucker, yes I do.
Say it. Who is it?
It's Leslie Jones.
So who are we getting to dress as Leslie Jones?
Are you getting Jasmine to dress as Leslie Jones?
That would be funny, but no.
Oh, okay.
This is gonna be even funnier because it's just gonna be absolutely fucking absurd.
Jay.
We're gonna make Jay get a flat top blowout, and he's going to be the Leslie Jones to our Supermarket.
I don't know if I can support this decision, but I will. I mean, I'm excited for all of the photos.
I cannot fucking wait for this shit because like the minute they announced, like we thought about this, we were like, yo, we have to like I looked at Kristen, I was like, we need a host, and she was like, well, we're gonna get a white guy. I said, no, we need a Leslie Jones. We're getting Jay. Oh my god, that's amazing. And then I called Jay. I was like, Jay, you have a Halloween costume? He's like, nigga, it's May. Why the fuck would I have a Halloween costume? I was like, I have an idea and I need you to be a part of my costume. And he's like, I mean, I guess, but if it's stupid, I'm not gonna. You're gonna be Leslie Jones on Supermarket Sweep, and we're gonna be contested. He goes, yeah, I'm fucking doing that shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jay has to keep the goatee for that.
And the only thing that's funny is, she's also an Amazon, so like he is the exact polar opposite of Leslie Jones in that regard. But it's gonna be so good.
I can't with you right now. I can't. It's so amazing. Oh, I have to say, I hope that things like improve by Halloween, because one of the things that I love about my apartment is the fact that we have a massive balcony that like looks out onto the street. Like if you guys watched that episode that Ellis did with us for the the drive-by Schmoedown. he like stops and we're literally like sitting on our balcony. So all I wanted to do this Halloween was to get blackout drunk, dress up in a costume, and sit on my balcony and like chuck candy at kids. And I don't get to do that this year, and I'm so fucking upset.
Well, that's the only thing that made me sad, because this was a time where like lockdown wasn't like officially like a rest of the year shit. Yep. Because we were literally going to take the cart and just run down the street, like through the West Hollywood parade, all that shit, with Shuri in the cart, just like, go! And it's like, oh my God. Which if y'all didn't see, if you don't follow me on Instagram, this is a reason enough. So I had found, before they put some episodes on Netflix, like a massive amount of Supermarket Sweep episodes are on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, they are.
Like I want to say like 100+ episodes.
At least.
And so I was watching them, and anytime something real, my favorite thing to do with that game, because it is very 80s, 90s, is let's play who's getting a divorce when the show is over. And it's literally like he guesses like that first initial buzzer, and it's a mini sweep, and it's like you've got a stain and it takes away your pride, so wash it out with Tide. And it's like, great. So then his wife has to go run, right? And she's like, all right, Carol, are you ready? Go! And Carol's running, and she's looking around, and she's like, doesn't know where the section is. And then she gets there, but she doesn't see Tide, even though it's the fucking giant orange box with the sweep sticker. And she's looking, and then the buzzer goes off, and she kind of runs back, and she's standing back behind the husband, and he's definitely looking at her like, bitch, all you do is the shopping. Like it's like random shit like that, or you end up with like a situation where like my favorites when the black people are on there, because it's clear the brother has no idea where about any of these products, but this motherfucker is fast. And so he's this motherfucker like Hams, motherfucker. He's out here like Todd, motherfucker, and he's just like grabbing all this, or the reverse, and his like clearly the wife is excited about the show, and he's just there as a support. And so like the one brother's sitting there, and his wife is running. He's like the whole time, "You go, girl! You go, girl!" Like they cut back to the 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, yo, this is the 80s, 90s show I've ever fucking seen, and I love the shit out of it. Hey, hell yeah! You have to get so many of those.
You got to get the turkeys. You got to because you can only get like 10,
five of everything.
Five of everything. So you get 5 hams, you get 5 turkeys, and then there's also the cheese. But like now I'm actually curious, because I haven't watched any of the new episodes. I'm very curious to see if they have like a vegan section, because that's
Leslie Jones hasn't come out yet. That hasn't premiered yet.
I want to know if they have it in the new store, because that shit is fucking expensive.
Super expensive. But like the other things that people forget, pots and pans.
Oh yeah,
those are huge. Medicine. Like you gotta raid the fucking medicine aisle.
Gotta get that aspirin. All of the cold medicine.
Baby formula. That shit is not expensive.
Yeah.
Y'all think this is a motherfucking game?
Oh no,
I planned that shit.
We've been playing this show since we were like 9.
But my whole life, and when people would go down the wrong, I was like, "You dumb motherfucker, that's the wrong aisle."
Winston, we have a show that we need to do, apparently, because this shit needs to happen. I don't know if our blood pressure can handle it, but I think that it would be super fucking entertaining.
I will. So there, I have 2 things. I'll do one episode of that. So whether or not it ever sees the light of day, my girlfriend and I love to watch House Hunters, and we love to just shit on the people that are in there, because there's also it is also fun to play who's gonna get a divorce over the house with that too. But like people's complaints about random shit, like I hate the color of this room though, and like
you can paint it.
That's the name of our show. The name of our show is Just Paint It. And anytime someone makes a complaint about a color or a wallpaper, we have to take a shot, because we're just like, just paint it, and then we should take shots. So if the show ever sees light of day, we'll see, because we filmed the pilot. I just haven't edited it yet, but it's the funniest thing ever, because it is us making really inappropriate jokes. She's a huge like house file, if that's a word, where she's obsessed with architecture and houses and all that, and I've kind of come around. Okay,
it sounds classier. Castle
file, right? So it's us watching that and just talking mad fucking shit, bro, and it's so fucking funny because It's the same thing. Okay, but
after technically on the schedule of after growing up when it was airing live, it was always Supermarket Sweep and then Shop Till You Drop, and I completely agree, Danielle. Shop Till You Drop was kind of like the B section, but like you guys don't remember this? It was like a mini mall. It was like a 2-tiered mall, and they had like, oh my god, you don't remember this?
Hold on. I clicked away to look it up real quick. I thought you had a photo up. I'm trying to find it because the name sounds super familiar.
It took place in a mall, like a fake mall, and there was like the announcer and then like the 3 contestants like across from them, and then behind them was like a double-decker mall section, like from any kind of shoot, and you had to like go in and buy a wedding dress from the wedding dress store, or like get your nails done, or go get like a tux altered or something. And it was like, or like go buy a vacation from the vacation. It was weird and fun, but like, yeah, I'm with you. And what is this watch along? What's going on?
Cheryl.
Oh, so I'll let you in. It's for the patrons right now, but I'm allowing but you can come if you want to come. We're watching the whole of the Friday series tomorrow on a Friday. So they're not long because like I want to say the longest movie is like 95 minutes, but they're all about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna watch them all back to back. We'll do a small intermission in between, but it's just, you know how I've been pushing super hard to have more Black cinema in
100%.
the movie Schmoedown. So it's both a education for people that haven't seen it, but then a love and appreciation for those that have. So it normally my watch-alongs are for the 5 and 15, but I'm opening up to all my patrons, so even my dollar patrons tomorrow. We're just gonna watch the Friday movie. So come in, grab a drink, talk shit, learn where Bye Felicia came from if you don't really know, like all that kind of stuff, including the little tidbits you don't even notice. You've seen Friday, right?
Oh yeah.
So did you notice though, and I didn't notice until I rewatched it like a year ago, that the whole time she thinks that Craig is cheating on her with another dude, when she's on the phone in the bedroom the one time, there is literally a dude naked next to her in the fucking bed. Yep. But I didn't notice that shit before. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking crazy.
And yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Dude, the last sound.
Oh yeah, you got knocked the fuck out. I still use that. I use that talking about Schmoedown stuff. I used to talk about how Kalinowski got knocked the fuck out at Spectacular.
That was all, bro. That's the whole thing. That's what swag artists. We're KO artists, bro. We done knocked everybody the fuck out. We just no offense, Rachel. I'm sorry.
I did not get knocked out. You can go fuck that.
You got technically knocked out. How about that?
I
got knocked the fuck out.
To be fair, I got fucked over by another Decade Slice because the Decade Slices fucking hate me.
Yeah. No, I feel you, and man, it's amazing when a good plan comes together. Because since we got the spinner's choice, she intentionally, and I give all credit to Liz. We talk about what we think based off of what people do. What their strengths are, if we want to throw something on there to throw them off, etc., etc. She straight out the gate was like, that's all good, well and dandy. I want to throw SNL movies on there. Hasn't been used, probably not gonna be that deep. And I know a good number of them. And I was like, okay. And then it was like, what movie is Bohemian Rhapsody in? And I'm like, okay.
It legit took everything in me not to be like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well,
every fucking question I was like.
But the funny thing is like that's really the only movie that became famous in. I mean, it's been used in other movies here and there, but you may not know that it's an SNL movie. But that's the thing. You may not know that Wayne's World is an SNL movie. Like anybody that seriously,
other people may not.
No. I mean, but that's the whole thing. I had no idea that Wayne's World was an SNL movie until I got much, much older. I knew just Wayne's World as a one-off because I didn't watch SNL as a child. So I was just like, oh, this is just a silly movie. Like whatever, did not click. Same with Night at the Roxbury, same with Coneheads. So like literally once I then went and realized, oh, these are all people from SNL. And then I saw either old clips. I was like, oh, that's cool. They did like a Conehead sketch, like because of Conehead's the movie, right? No, it's the other way around. So like it is possible to potentially not know that.
That's true.
But
with context clues that are given in the question, like you can't not guess them.
Yeah.
That is true.
I'm not going to click it. Go ahead and click it. Okay.
All right, Warfather.
So Paul has control as well. So we like literally both started clicking.
Man.
Sorry. No, I was as soon as that got like spun, I just wish that, you know, Kate had told me to shut the fuck up and take Nora Ephron.
I mean, I don't know though. That's not a.
My ego got the best of me, and I was like, no, I want Kevin Smith or I want Pixar. Like, I want to fucking show off and like really win this. And then I got another decade slice, and I just
they're rough. They're rough slices. But here's the thing though. You're not wrong jumping up at Nora Ephron. I don't know if you're watching every match. Nora Ephron has happened a shit ton. So you might have and they've only really been about Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail and When Harry Met Sally. So either they're going to get super deep on those movies at that point, or they're going to be some of her movies that aren't as famous, and then you might have also been in trouble, you know?
Yeah, but I had legit just watched every Nora Ephron movie.
Then I don't know what to tell you. Then
I know!
I
just need somebody to take me by the shoulders and be like, stop being stupid. Just fucking take it.
Well, and that's again, I'm not knocking anything because everybody has different strengths that they bring to the thing. That my biggest thing, like I said, has been reading my players and figuring out what they need at what time. Sometimes they do need to be told, no, we need to focus on this. But for the most part, I let them run autonomously, and then I just fill in gaps and serve as an anchor. So, you know, it just depends. But I mean, that's the thing. You played a good match. I was only mad at you for one reason, and it was mainly because I got mad at you because this happened 2 matches in a row because, you know, we filmed this right before the Pride Final Exam match.
Oh, no, I'm very aware of this.
So it was missing Coming to America and then missing Selma. And I was like, this is exactly why we need fucking black movies in the goddamn Schmoedown.
Okay.
I was mad at Liz too. When she missed it, I was like, the fuck? How motherfucking white people don't know Coming to America?
Oh, I know Coming to America.
What is this?
It was one of those movies that I hadn't watched in a very long time. Like, I grew up watching that movie, but it was one of those movies that, like, I hadn't watched since I started studying for Schmoedown. And so it was like, it just didn't pop in my brain. I was like, I know it's not Nutty Professor. I know that for a fucking fact. But I was like, I can't, like, because I hadn't seen Dolomite, because it just slipped through, whatever. But I was like, could it be that? Like, it's the only one that he's been in recently, and I don't know if he's played multiple parts, and I know that he played multiple parts, like, in a lot of his movies, and like that was one of those issues. But like, as soon as I said it, I literally, like, all of the scenes where he played all of those characters like popped into my brain, and I was like, God damn it, Rachel, you're being stupid. Like, stop it.
All it took, the minute he mentioned the barber, but he mentioned the barber, he mentioned Randy from Sex with Chocolate, and then he mentioned the Jewish character that's in the barbershop as well. So that's all. Like, all I was like, and they intentionally obviously didn't put Hakeem in there because then that would be a problem.
Yeah.
But like that, I was like, that's a layup because he didn't mention no clumps. He didn't mention no Norbit. He mentioned nothing. Like, this is that. And so when you both missed it, I was like, I'm about to, because remember I was on my phone because I had the emergency, and so I was about to be like, man, I'm about to quit this match, and Liz on her own. I'm pissed. How both these white women I know fucking Coming to America. I'm mad.
I mean, I will say this about Selma is I wasn't thinking anything recent. I was thinking more like 80s movies in reference to that question. So,
and
like,
as far as Selma,
right?
Well, but you said The Butler, which came out like 2 years before Selma.
Oh wait, sorry. Those matches okay, guys. Just a little behind the scenes. My match against Liz happened on a Thursday, and then my match against Paul and the Delinquent happened on the next day on Friday. So those matches just kind of blur in my mind, and then that weekend just really fucking sucked because I obviously lost 2 matches in a row, and I was like, well, there's my season. I don't know. Because
it was a Wednesday and a Friday, right? Because I remember
it was a Thursday and a Friday.
It was I know it was Wednesday because it's in my calendar, but it's also because you said I promised it was Wednesday because I messaged you and I was like, I promised you it was Wednesday. I'll put money on that. I'll put money on it.
Danny joins in chat. Danny,
was it Thursday? It was Thursday, right?
It was definitely a Wednesday because I messaged you and I was like, "Damn, that was a good match." But I know that I'm like, and you were like, "It's all good. I'm gonna cry it out tonight. I'm gonna study tomorrow. I'll see you on Friday."
Was it? I don't know. Like those whatever days were just a blur in my brain, and it hurt. And then Saturday and Sunday. I said Lee Daniels the butler. That was my answer.
But that was the thing. It's like all I knew is like because that was another situation. I was like, because since it happened like essentially within 72 hours, I was like, Rachel, am I gonna have to sit you down and watch every fucking black movie with you?
Okay.
What is happening?
so Lee Daniels the butler came out during a very hectic time on tour, and I didn't get to see it, and then it didn't come out. It wasn't released on streaming for a while. There was some reason why I didn't actually get to see that movie.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, Selma. Selma came out during that time,
That's
and it was just.
Wait.
It was one of those movies that I was like, actually both of them happened like right around the same time. Like there was just something going on tour that I didn't get to the. I didn't have a chance to get to the theaters to watch them because like we have such limited time to like actually have free time on tour. And so it was really hard to do that. And then I got off tour and I was like, well, I'm enjoying like shopping and cooking in the kitchen every day and like being a real person. And so like, there's just, now I'm going back and rewatching all of those. So it's
to be honest with you, I've had to put a number of Schmoedown competitors in there. Like I didn't have to do that with you. I mean, you just explained everything, but I've had to put some people in their place that tried to make an argument that was too hard of a fucking question. It's like, no, not necessarily that. There've been other questions, and I don't want to say anything because one of it pertains to a match that has not aired yet. But I
understand the sentiment, and I don't agree with. Like, I agree with you. Like, no, fuck that. If it came out in the movie theater, you should have seen it.
Well, and that was the whole thing. Like, there was an argument about it, and like they said something, and it was like, oh, and nobody saw that movie, and I was like, first of all, I did. Second of all, this is what I'm talking about black cinema in the Schmoedown, and it was a movie that got Oscar buzz. If I'm not mistaken, it got fucking nominated, and I'm not very good with names, which gets me in trouble in the Schmoedown, which is why I was only a mediocre player at best. But I was like, I don't know the actor that was involved in that, so that may have tripped me up. But if you've seen the movie, because they explained the question to me, and I was like, if you've seen the movie, that shit happens in the first 5 minutes of the fucking movie. Yeah. So to make an argument that it's not like that's too much of a deep cut, no, because the whole movie, it's linchpinned on that opening incident. And then if you've seen the movie, you instantly know what it is. Yeah. It's not even that hard of a question. You just need to know who that actor is, which would have got me in trouble. But then the incident, and then that's it. And so, like, anybody that's out here being like, well, I don't know, like, that's kind of go fuck yourself, because there have been tiny ass. Well, I'm saying, this is not directed at you specifically. There have been smaller movies that have happened. Like, for example, even some Kevin Smith movies, as massive as they are as a pop culture phenomenon and a cult classic phenomenon. Someone made an argument. Well, it didn't make that much of a. Oh no! It didn't make that much money.
I will fucking argue against that till the day is done.
And I was like, and how many Kevin Smith movies had the same amount of gross from their films? But like, there's a full fucking like. Do not give me that argument either. Yeah. Like about it didn't make enough money to be relevant.
Well, so there's the fun argument now that has to happen about whether or not they can ask questions about Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, because it was never fully released in theaters, but it did do a tour. And then as soon as the tour went through the town, it was released in cinemas in that town. And I'm like, well, it released in enough like major cities to be seen. Plus now it's on Prime, so it should 100% be available to be asked about, because not only was it released in theaters, it was actually like, now you can actually like access it, versus like, you know, somebody can argue against Red State with the fact that like you can't find that thing anywhere. Like I literally bought a Blu-ray off of Amazon, and completely did not see that it was because it was region 2, I can't play it unless I get like a region free player. But it was released in the US and it is accessible to have questions asked about it. Like if you can find a way to watch everything. Like there is a way. So it's one of those things that's like, eh. Oh. Yeah, if you can remember Yoga Hosers, you can remember she's got it. Fucking Eric, I love you so much.
That's what I'm saying. And I will forever fight for a specific Black Cinema wheel slice. I know Christian is scared about like, I don't want to step on toes. What does that actually mean? Where I give PJ a lot of credit. I have noticed in matches, if not once or twice a fucking match, I have seen a Black film get thrown in the mix under stuff. 100%. Great. But
there's always 2 questions in round 1 centered around Black cinema.
I
love that.
And what I also, what's funny to me is that because, and this proves that there's gaps that people need to fill. They're like, for example, Lon and Paul's 5-pointer against Shazam was not like, and Lon has admitted this. He goes, I literally just watched like Menace to Society and Juice and Boys in the Hood. Like he's like, I watched all of those, but I watched them all in a random succession, and so my brain just couldn't separate them out. I was sitting there just like, oh my god, come on guys, come on. Like not even remotely close to a 5-pointer to me. To me, that's as simple as like that's a opening question of the match, and I'm like, Menace, okay, like. But that's the thing. You can use it as a 5-pointer to some people if they just I just haven't seen that. Like, and that to me is a problem. It doesn't need to be exotic anymore.
Guys, let's wish everybody wish Jake a great night. You are the best. We love you. I know somebody else left earlier, but we love you. If you guys can't stay and hang out, like we're just.
So Rachel, I'm a man of my word. I keep the same energy. I will eat crow when I eat crow. So I realized I was reading my calendar wrong. You're exactly right. It did happen on a Thursday, and I apologize.
That wasn't even a rough 48 hours. That was a rough like 26 hours. I lost to Liz, and then I lost again, and I was just like, I don't want to do this right now. Like I just got stoned for like 73 hours, and then Christian called me on Monday and was like, are you okay? And I was like,
well, what threw me off is that just because of just going as far back as this is, obviously we filmed that, for all these tournaments, at least for the managers, I was doing matches so frequently. The following week I filmed 2 more. You know what I'm saying? Like more, like 2 more of the round 1 matches. So like it all is just kind of blurring like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm just giving you a shit.
No. I am a man that like the biggest thing that I've had problem with growing up is admitting when I'm wrong, and it's something that in the last few years I am very open with. If somebody comes with me with that proof and I'm wrong, it hurts to do it, but you get easier to it. To just admit I was wrong. I'm sorry, my bad.
And I appreciate that, but I was right.
This is why I don't like being motherfucking wrong.
Never argue against a woman whether she's right or not. We're always right.
No, absolutely not. I can name a number of women that are never right. Tommy Lauren, with one exception, broken clock right. Broken clock right twice a day.
We as a woman, we don't accept her. She's not a woman. She is a creature unto her own self. That is an evil entity in a skin suit.
That's not right. She's a woman. She just might be a woman possessed. I'm not gonna take away her womanhood for that. Just like I don't take away anybody's blackhood. You could call. I mean, if there is an Uncle Tom version of woman, you could do that. You know, because like. I would never take away, for example, Terry Cruz's blackness, but Terry Crews is also acting like an Uncle Tom right now. Like
Auntie Tommy?
Yeah, maybe Auntie Tommy. That might not be a bad thing for Tommy
Yeah.
But I need to eat something. I feel my head getting a little light. So I'm probably gonna say I need to take off in a minute.
Okay, so let's give it 5 more minutes. PLD, I love you, but I'm gonna kick you off for the rest of the show.
I can
love you so much. You're the best.
Okay,
Okay, so guys, 5 more minutes on Winston. So if you guys have any more questions, just send them in Streamlabs. And then once 5 minutes are up, I'll ask my famous last question. But we really did get to talk a lot about music. I mean, we did a little on the 90s, but what was your very first concert?
That's a good question.
How he's contemplated.
I don't know.
Okay, what was your favorite concert?
Fuck. I mean, I've seen Gambino like 4 fucking times, and every show is great. Gambino's up there. That might be it. Real talk. It's not that I don't. What I regret is that I didn't go to concerts a lot. A lot of it had to do with the fact that I didn't. Even though I went to private school, we had a situation where we had a lot of money. I don't want to get into the full end of the family business type shit, but like some shit went down, so then we didn't have money, and my mom was working her ass off so that we didn't lose the house and we could stay in private school. And I never knew how close to the edge we always were. So I didn't always personally have a lot of money for a while, so I didn't go to concerts when I was younger, and so I just never developed like a full-blown taste for them like everybody else. But then even when I got out of college, people would go to there's a lot of concerts people went to that I fucking regret I didn't go to. Same thing, just because I would spend my money on just different stuff. So when it was time to buy a concert ticket, which could be anywhere from $75 to $200, I was like, nah.
What?
Depending on what you're talking about.
I mean,
because
yeah,
like out here, out here in LA, well, like Lil Wayne versus Drake, like the cheapest ticket was like $150. Like when Jay-Z and Beyonce, that was like $200. You know what I'm saying? So and that's like at the Rose Bowl. You could be in the shittiest seat and it's still like $200 fucking dollars. So
God, I really don't want to tell you about the time I saw Jay-Z then.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Oh no, it was the Jay-Z Beyonce on the Run tour.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was one of their lighting guys.
Oh no, you got it free. I hate you.
He walked us in, did an understage tour with. Well, my niece was 12 or 13 at the time, so this was everything for her. I was trying to find tickets to buy, and he was like, "Oh, I can just whatever. Just let me know when you're in town." And so I took her, and it's like the cutest fucking video. I surprised her. We took the train from San Jose to San Francisco to go see it at the stadium, and like surprised her with it. And she's like so excited. She's like, "Turn the camera off. I'm not fabulous enough." It's the cutest thing in the world. Wow. And we got up there and we did like an understage tour. Like she got to stand in Beyonce's dressing room, like in her quick change room. And then he placed us. And my favorite part to see any concert, we were standing in the sound booth.
Wow.
Like in front of the B stage. We were like 20 feet from the B stage.
That's crazy, man. That's
amazing.
Fucking crazy.
It was so fucking dope.
I mean, the funny thing is like I've worked in music in some form or fashion the last like 4 years. Like a buddy of mine books bands for like the House of Blues and stuff like that. So I was working as like essentially like the floor general, I guess you could almost say, where I'm collecting ticket money and making sure the artists are okay and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like an assistant house manager.
Honestly, the house manager, like, to be real with you, because that's the thing, since it's his shows that he's booking, and I used to book shows too. It is essentially our night in like the foundation room. So like the GM is there, but like I'm running the show. Because he shows up at the end to just like do the business with the GM. But like I'm literally the liaison that like receive them as they come in, collect their ticket money, check in with the door guy with any tickets that are bought at the door, like all that kind of like, so literally running it. So I've been to a bunch of little mini concerts, but like there's something to be said that like you get half and half. You get people that are talented. You're like, oh wow, I get to see them before they probably hit it big. And you also see a lot of people that are fucking terrible. Oh boy. So. Okay,
so what was a show that you would have given anything to go to?
The Glow in the Dark tour, which was what, if I remember, I know half these people are problematic now, but it was like fucking Lupe, Kanye, Chris Brown, and I want to say, I can't remember who the last one was. But apparently, like, that show was phenomenal. And I will never, ever forgive myself for just not finding the money to go. But again, if concerts weren't in my blood like that, it just took someone then telling me about it and then seeing some like footage of someone taking it on their cell phone or some shit. And me being like, fuck, why didn't I go to that? So
yeah, I missed out on a lot just because of tour life. And I mean, I was in Minneapolis and I had friends on the Bieber tour, and I was like, I don't care about Bieber. I just want to hang out with my friends. Like that's like, I want to see it. Like his tour manager was a friend of mine. Like his head security guard was a friend of mine. And like they rolled into town early. And so they came and hung out at Machine Gun Kelly show. That another friend of mine was his tour manager, and across the street was All American Rejects. And I literally just like walked into that show. I just showed up and I was like, yeah, I don't have a ticket, but there's like 20 minutes left on their set. I'm over across the street at Machine Gun Kelly. Like, can I just go say hi to my friends? They're like, yeah, just give me a wrist. It was like, okay, great. That was fun. Okay, so we don't have any more Streamlabs, so I'm gonna close this out because I know that you're exhausted and you need to get some food in your belly. So one of my favorite movies of all time, obviously, dealing with concerts and everything, is Almost Famous. And my favorite question to end this with is the last question that William gets to ask at the end of the movie. Do you have to be happy to write a love song? Do you have to be sad to write a sad song? What is it that you love about music?
I love that music is one of the few things on this planet that no matter what can anchor you in. I think more so sometimes than even acting. It's one of those things that if done right, so sonically, lyrically, all that kind of stuff, can instantly take you back to a time and place that can help you understand a plight and can even expose people for their wrongdoings. Like I immediately think like one of my favorite musical, I don't know if you technically call it a musical, but music-based films is Straight Outta Compton. There's a lot that could have been improved on or talked about, but overall it's a very, very well done movie. And just seeing firsthand like that retelling of what Fuck the Police was all about and where that came from and all that kind of stuff, it's the idea that like you can use that and understand why they were saying that. The words make sense when you watch that whole sequence of like they're in the studio, cops bring them out, put them on the ground, start harassing them like they've already beat them and beat their friends and all that other shit. Those words mean a whole new fucking level. So what I love about music is the fact that the music is one of the few things that can help bridge us in a way that mere words can't. Even if you can't experience something, you may be able to experience through music.
I absolutely love that answer. I love that every time I ask that question, I get a completely different answer. And it's very personal because music is very personal for every single person. Guys, give a big love and goodbye to Winston. Thank you so much for coming on. I have the best time. I mean, we could talk for another 2.5 hours and just be totally happy and everything. So let me know when you're off that fucking 30 healthy, full 30 diet. We'll get some drinks. We'll just hang out. And I miss you, buddy.
I miss you too. Take care of yourself. I first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you everybody for having me. Please check out Blurs in the Hood and Positive Black People News and my Twitch channel and all that stuff. But just continue to take care of yourself. I worry about everybody right now, and I just make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah, love you. Take care of yourself. I love you so much. Guys, we also have a few things. So I'm going to kick Winston off because he has food to go eat. And we have a little bit of fun stuff. Next week, hi, honey. Next week, we have, please come back next week. I have the amazing, the sweetest Brendan Meyer. I'm really excited to see what a Canadian does in this whole setting of swearing and drinking, and maybe we'll get him to swear a little bit. The rest of my September is amazing. I've got Brendan Meyer. I've got Kevin Smets right before he becomes a daddy, and Andrew Guy at the end of the season or at the end of the month. please go ahead and join my Patreon. It's amazing. We have so much fun. There's more to come. I'm trying to fit in some watch-alongs and like maybe my favorite soundtracks and stuff like that. Also, this Saturday, I am on the Gucciverse is having an after show for The Boys for season 2, and I am the woman on the show, which I am so excited to be. I love the show. I literally binged season 1 last night, like the entire season 1. It is amazing. I love Eric Kripke. He makes some amazing shows. He builds these worlds that are phenomenal. So please come and hang out Saturday at it's going to be Saturday. We're going to go live at, I believe, noon Eastern time. So you're going to see a very, very tired me. Probably a lot of makeup. But yeah, love you guys so much. Come hang out next week. Again, it is me and Brendan Meyer at 6:30 Pacific Daylight Time. You guys are the best. I love all of you. Thank you for Winston for coming and hanging out. And now it is my favorite time. It is the awkward dance time. So I love you guys so much, and it is done, and we're all done.